Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2024 ESOC TV Spring Championships. I am Mr. V, and I think my partner Lionheart will be here soon. It is Dennis versus, oh boy, GuiliuG, JulianK. Somebody's gonna in the chat have to tell me how to pronounce our second player's name, but we are here. It is a best of 7. I am super hyped. Yeah, this is so official. Our camera and everything. Hey, Lionheart, he just had the raid, so now we're just waiting for him to come into the casting chat. Let me give a welcome to everybody I see in the chat. Welcome McJim, welcome Easy AOE, welcome Mr. JB AOE, welcome Dennis, welcome Brooke G, welcome Pope951, welcome Pro C Playing. Oh, now it's really coming. Welcome Real Henry Knox. Welcome Stingaboo. Huge. Oh boy, I don't even know how to say some of these. Welcome everybody. Hey, Lion. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, yo. How's it going? Yes, boys. We just came from the most game ever. We basically down against Revnak, so that was so much thrilling entertainment there.
I saw it.
Only the best from the most toxic Age of Empires streamer there is. That's me, by the way.
Oh, man. it looked juicy. It looked juicy.
It did. It did. How you doing, Mr. V?
I'm doing so well. I'm ready to cast some games. Do you have your camera connected so we can see your lovely mug?
I can see that Joshua is trying to set that up right now. I guess I share my camera. That's how it's done, right?
Yep.
Way there he is. He love it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Can you see me yet?
Oh. Yeah, so while you're connecting Lionheart, I'll let everybody know kind of the Civ bans and the first Civ matchup. So the first Civ matchup is going to be Dennis's Spain versus GuiliuG's Portugal. So we got the Battle of the Iberians, and then the ban for Dennis is Dennis cannot play Hausa, and GuiliuG cannot play Spain. So those are the current bans, the current Civ picks for Game 1. It is a best of 7. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who will come out on top. I don't know. I think Dennis is currently ranked higher, but I'm not exactly sure. Hold on, I can look this up. I did my homework. I can do the research.
Well, I think my camera's working now.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh no, I literally didn't click start. A big green start in front of my face and I didn't click it. There we go. It should be done now. I'm such a boomer when it comes to this sort of thing. I'm sorry. I'm such a boomer.
Look at you. Look at you. Hi, Lion.
Right, look at your room, man. That is like some next level, like casting couch stuff right there.
Thank you. Thank you. I was inspired by many people.
Bro, I've got like
my
boxer shorts on the floor and stuff, like with skid marks on, and then you've got this like DJ booth set up there, like Jesus Christ.
Oh, bro. I don't think it matters. I think just look at the number of people that come to your stream. I think they like it. I think that's your brand. That's your identity.
Yeah. My brand is being toxic, and everyone that joins is a toxic piece of you know what as well. So
well, I thought
that's the brand right there.
I thought your brand was revolting and winning every game you played.
AKA being toxic.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
But this is gonna be hype, man. So what we got? Who we got? I don't even know. Right, we got Dennis versus GuiliuG. Okay, cool. I think you was talking about earlier who's got the higher elo. Definitely Dennis will have the higher elo. But this game, people might be thinking this might be a complete whitewash. GuiliuG, I've played GuiliuG a couple of times on the ladder. He's a pretty decent player, to be honest with you. So I think this could be closer than people might think.
Well, what are your thoughts on the Civ bans? So Dennis getting Hausa banned and then GuiliuG not being able to play Spain. Are those Civs that you've seen them play a lot and do really well with?
I mean, Dennis, it's a very obvious ban pick for Dennis, but GuiliuG, I don't know, actually. I think I've played his France or Germany more than anything else. So I don't know why Dennis has decided to go for a Spain. Maybe he's had a look on the Free Food Party app and kind of dug down what he builds, but I don't think I've seen GuiliuG's Spain, so that's interesting. But I know he plays lots of other civs, so he'll be okay with that.
Yeah. Awesome.
The Great Plains is a broad extense of flat land that stretches through much of western North America. It is home to large herds of bison and a trade route with 3 trading post sites. Players will want to control the center of the map for its abundant food, but be aware that wood and coin are more prevalent along the map's edges.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are for Game 1 on Great Plains. Let me give you the Civ intros really quick. In the south of the map, playing in the color blue, as the Spanish, we have DennisD. And in the north of the map, playing in the color red as the Portuguese, we have GuiliuG, who is getting down his initial house, collecting his small coin treasures to start off. And we see Den going with the early trading post, right away slamming that down. Portuguese versus Spanish. Lionheart, what do you think about this matchup?
What I think about how professional you are with those introductions is hard. God damn, I'm nowhere near that professional. Damn, that was
making
sexy.
you sweat?
Yeah. Hot sweats, not cold sweats. So.
Oh damn.
This is an interesting matchup. I've been playing this game since the vanilla days, and back then it used to be a very Spain-favored matchup. But during DE, Ports have received a lot of buffs during DE. I mean, Spain have got a lot of buffs as well, to be fair, but Portugal are an absolute powerhouse in the current meta. They're not like, the top 1 or 2 civs, but they're an extremely good civ. And they have the tools these days, whilst they never used to, they definitely have the tools these days to deal with Spain. So Spain have to win the game sort of. Majority of the time, Spain have to win the game within the sort of first 15 minutes. If they don't, Ports tend to outscale them.
Yeah, that's really well said. And I think what it comes down to is if Spain can keep Portuguese from just assuming a lot of map control really early in the game, because we're seeing that nowadays, Portuguese players being a lot more aggressive with their town center placements and really just dominating the map and getting so much map control right away. If Spain can somehow halt that, maybe get one of those town centers down in the early game, it can really help out the Spanish player. But I think, the introduction of the Feitorias card has really changed Portuguese from one of the lower tier civs back in the, the ESO patch days to, like you said, one of the higher tier civs now.
Yeah, it's Ports are so good right now. Like, they don't even have to camp in this matchup. They don't even have to turtle in. Well, they can, because of the 10-10, and we'll have to keep an eye out now. He's not going for the 10-10, which is a bit of a shame. If they go for the 10-10, they can actually put a forward TC down, and then they can age up so quickly that they can put a forward fort down. And the way this is so flipped these days is that the irony is that Ports can actually contain Spain if they do it right. But it looks like this game we're going to get a much more standard 13-8 villager age up from Ports here. So yeah, I mean, can we have a quick look at Portugal's deck? See what we've got going on there. So we've gone for Feitorias. He's got quite a lot of H2 cards, which I feel like are going to be completely unnecessary. Honestly, you only need you literally need in this matchup, because you always know Spain are going to go for the fast fortress, right? 9 times out of 10. So you literally you only need 700 gold, 700 wood, and maybe a couple of upgrade cards in H2. You might as well then just fill the age 4 with as many cards as possible, because often these games can go to age 4, especially with Portugal. So let's have a look at Den's deck. But I mean, overall, it was still a pretty decent. He had lots of military shipments like 8s and 7 halberdiers, so that's fine. That's a pretty standard Spain deck.
The advanced artillery is the thing that's sticking out to me. Do you see that, Lionheart?
Yes. So if you look at his deck, he's got 1k wood, he's got Marvelous Year, and he's got Spanish gold. So Spain can actually keep up with Portugal's boom up till, like I said, about the 15, maybe 20-minute mark, if they can contain ports. So if he may decide to go for like a double racks Spanish gold with Marvelous Year build. If that's the case, he's going to want to try and kind of outboom and then outscale his opponent. But yeah, Advanced Artillery is actually a really good card in this matchup.
And the town center now coming forward for GuiliuG, and it's already looking like it's going to be a pretty aggressive placement. Going out, probably going to take the middle of the map, probably try to place it in between this middle trading center and the trading post line. He could seal up a lot of hunts here, maybe even some of the coin mines on the farther side of the map. But yeah, we're already seeing the Portuguese player be more aggressive with that town center placement.
I love that shot by Joshua there, just following that wagon. It was beautiful. And it's like what I said, how ports can actually be like aggressive with regards to the map control in this match. Like that's how buffed Portugal are these days. So what I think might happen here, is GuiliuG might age up quickly here with the fast age up once he collects that 700 gold, and then his first shipment might be a fort, because you can get that fort out and placed on the map before Spain can get their first shipment in age 3, which is generally 2 falconets. So we might see that. If we don't, he might just kind of go for organ guns and halberdiers to kind of deter the 2 falconets. And this way, doing it this way, if he can stop that initial push from Spain that we all know and love and hate, he's gonna have the total map control here.
Yeah, he does have a lot of age 3 units, Portugal. He has 8 Halb, 7 Halb, 8 Castador, 7 Castador, 5 Dragoons, even has the armed Pistoliers. So definitely could be shipping out a ton of military in age 3. And I kind of want to see what Spain does to counter that. And specifically, how is Portugal going to deal with the 2 falconets from Spain? What's the best way to deal with that as ports?
So it may either be the fort or the free organ guns. The fact that they get the free, this is another reason why Portugal have been so buffed in D compared to like the vanilla days, is because they get a free organ gun shipment. Back in the day when it was only 2 organ guns, that was one of the main reasons that they struggled to deal with Spain, because they got 2 organ guns which got absolutely destroyed by 2 falconets. These days they get 3 organ guns which beats 2 falconets. You back that up with some halberdiers, maybe some goons, and Spain are kind of left there thinking, oh crap, this could be more difficult than it used to be. But like we see, GuiliuG did go for the fast age up here, but instead of going for the fort, he's decided to go for the 1k wood. So what he wants to do here, he's going to use that 1k wood, try and set up kind of all of his infrastructure, get the either get the barracks or the stable, whatever composition he wants to go for here, before Spain can have 2 falconets in his face. So now what he's going to deal with, he's got double Minutemen forward on the map. Hopefully he picks up that XP treasure. He hasn't gone for a TP, so he's going to really need that XP treasure. And I think he'll be looking in a really good position.
Yeah, this middle part of the map just seems like such a stronghold. And I love that GuiliuG is putting his military buildings right behind those town centers, because it's going to be so tough for Spain, even with the 2 falconets, to take out all that infrastructure until they've built up more of an army here and gotten a lot more siege. 5 muskets now on the way to hopefully do a little bit of scouting in the middle of the map. But I really like GuiliuG's aggressive play. I like that he's not just sitting in the back of his base and eating through his starting hunts right away. He's already secured a lot of resources.
Yeah, and he secured the map as well. And you look at that second TP, it's just right in front of his face. And Dennis probably didn't expect the Portugal player to be so aggressive in this matchup. And yeah, I think what's important is if we keep an eye on Dennis now, because we can kind of see what Portugal are doing. It's all about what the response is going to be from Dennis. His first shipment is going to be 2 falconets. So playing is very standard right now. We've got Hussars from the age up. We've got age 2 Musketeers, which I'm sure he's going to get the veterancy for at some point.
He's picking up the 320 XP as well, right under the Portuguese town center. 320 XP for Spain, that's huge.
He tries to get his Explorer back, but I like the style there. But yeah, really well played by Dennis there. And that was the problem. That's the downside with going for 1k wood first, is that he didn't have any army to protect that treasure.
Oh, that was so ballsy by Dennis. I can't believe that paid off for him. 320 XP. That's going to allow him to get, like, how many shipments is that? Is that like 1.5 shipments or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed an extra shipment here, especially with Spain. Advanced artillery, wow, so Spain going for advanced artillery. That is a really smart play here. That's actually genius play. It's going to force GuiliuG to come out of that kind of shell in the mid-map where he is gonna give back Dennis the map control. And this is the problem with GuiliuG playing so greedy with that 1k wood. He doesn't have the free organs. He's actually shipped Cassadors now as well. This is the wrong shipment. He needs the halberdiers. He needs the free organ guns, and he's played this way too greedy so far. He does not have a counter to advanced artillery here. Really nice play here by Dennis.
And look what Dennis is following it up with. He's also following it up with the 9 rods as well. So I think he's just going to simply try to overwhelm GuiliuG and get so much infantry out that even with these Dragoons, even with these Cassadors, these artillery are going to stay really safe. But one might get sniped here. Are there enough Dragoons to take out one of those Falconets? I think so, but he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of forced to deal with those two Falconets, especially if he's shipping Cassadors as his shipment instead of free organ guns. This is exactly why the Rodolera's coming in now as well. This is why you want halberdier organ gun early on in this. Skirm Goon at this stage of the game, I feel like, is just not as effective as kind of halberdiers. You want those messy units. He's now shipping Minutemen, but too late. He loses 1 TC. He's still got his second one. Organ guns are on the way, but look at the scores already. Dennis just making Spain look good here.
Oh my God, 10 minutes into the game and we have a 5-unit composition from Dennis already. We have mortars, we have falconets, musketeer, and then I love the added skirmishers. It's really making the Cassadors play honestly and not just charge in and shoot down a bunch of these musketeers. Even got the hussar going off for a raid, that cheeky little feller. Oh man, this is so good from Dennis.
Yeah, and to be honest, Dennis is just playing pretty standard. I mean, the 2 falconets, I do like the adaptation with the advanced artillery. That's a really good adaptation here. But it's kind of more that GuiliuG is making the mistakes here. He's diving in with the free organ guns. He is going to be able to back them up. That's a nice kind of switcheroony here, but is it going to be enough? Yeah, maybe it is. But I think GuiliuG's just played this a little bit wrong, and it's cost him by losing a TC here. But with the free organ guns out, maybe there's a chance that he can get back into this game.
Yeah, and we do have to remember that GuiliuG does have a 12 villager advantage. It's 42 vills for port and only 30 for Spain. So, I mean, that third TC did do a little bit of work before it was eventually demolished. And I just don't know, can port hold off and let that villager lead really get him a huge advantage? But I don't know, this ball of Spanish units is looking really scary. Tell me, Lionheart, what is Dennis waiting for here? Why isn't he continuing to push?
Well, he doesn't want to run the risk of diving into free organ guns because it can go very wrong very, very quickly. Nice little raid there. That could have been... GuiliuG could have sent his organ guns there, and he could have got a lot of juicy vills there. But yeah, he's a little bit worried about the organ guns. What he wants to do, he wants to get mass up here. Clearly, he wants to get lots of melee units. Get in there. This is what Spain do best. Get messy, get the rods, get the lancers, get everything in there. And then that just completely negates the organ guns.
And the mortar's still alive in the back, still doing damage to that second town center.
Yeah, this is really, really nice play by Dennis here. He waited a moment. He understood exactly. He read the assignment. He knew exactly what he needed to get. Get those Rodoleros, get that mass going. And now, yeah, just the free organ guns are down. There's just not a lot here. This is exactly why I said you need those halberdiers. You need those type of units that can deny Rodoleros and Lancers early on in the game. Protect those organ guns at all costs. But right now, he just went Skirm Goon, and it just kind of failed to have that kind of meat shield that he needed to defend against those organ guns. And now it's looking like Dennis's game.
Yeah, I mean, this is just looking so ugly here for GuiliuG, and I think he almost invested too many resources in taking out that artillery. He was finally able to get rid of those 2 falconets and that mortar, but by the time the mortar went down, it had already paid for itself many times over. And it did enough damage to this TC that these musketeers and these skirmishers, I think they're going to be able to finish it off.
Yeah, I think they are as well. I mean, 43 villagers, it's pretty good. He's 4K score down, though. Lancer's just having a whale of a time killing those Cassadors.
But where are they going to gather? I mean, these villagers in the north that are on this hunt here, as soon as this TC goes down, they're dead. But the
yeah, it's just over.
I mean,
GG next game.
Are on the way.
I mean, if Dennis isn't paying attention, if he's not paying attention, then those halberdiers will do work. They will do work. They're melting the lancers. They're going to melt the musketeers.
More Dragoons coming out as well.
Alive. Oh, Dennis! Oh, more goons popping against the rods.
Is Dennis throwing this here, Lion? Are we getting a game throw here from Dennis?
I mean, the skirms are coming back. The lancers are coming back. There's a glimmer of hope that, you know, he's closed the score gap, so maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it's still about 2,000 in favor of Dennis, and he still has a really scary mass of Lancers here, but lost quite a few units there to those Halbs when he probably just could have pulled them back and been totally fine.
Yeah, he's getting a second TC down as well. He sees it. Yeah, I mean, we got hype there for a second, but I think this is going to be GG. I mean, Spain's tempo is just... Yes, ports have more villagers. They do have Fatorius as well, but I don't know. He's just got the tempo. GuiliuG needs a way of dealing with this mass. If he can deal with this mass and take a really good fight, then he can make a comeback here. But I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it.
No, and what's worrying me is he's just running out of safe places to gather hunt. He's got this one group of pronghorn way in the corner of the map that he's got a good handful of villagers on, but they're still really exposed. And now with that second Spanish town center, it looks like Dennis is starting to close off this other half of the map, and this is where the majority of the remaining hunts are. So if Portugal wants to keep getting food, which they need, he's gonna have to take a fight here, and he's gonna have to take it soon.
Yeah, Dennis has just shipped Marvelous Year as well, which is a really, really good eco card. So, along with the 2 TCs, you know, he's taken a good chunk of the map here as well. So, yeah, he's looking in such a strong position. I don't see what GuiliuG can do here. I think the score gap's going to get worse for him, but yeah, especially with when he's making Cassadors. I don't know. He needs something big. He needs something big, and I just don't see it, to be honest with you. Does he have an artillery foundry? Is that an artillery foundry I saw for GuiliuG?
Yeah, he has one hidden behind the tree line.
Okay. Okay, he's making organ guns. Maybe, you know, again, anything can happen with artillery. If he takes a good fight, you know, the halberdiers get stuck in there, organ guns melt everything else. You know, again, you know, he just needs one good fight is all he needs to get back into this game. But Dennis is a really good player. You know, he's not going to allow that to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, I love it as well. Dennis is going for the horse artillery. Okay, I take back what I said. Horse artillery is definitely GG right now. And for anyone who doesn't know, the reason he's allowed to build horse artillery in H3 here is because you ship the advanced artillery. People forget that not only does it give you a mortar and allow you to build mortars, it also lets you build all H4 artillery, including horse artillery.
Now, are those horse artillery debuffed compared to what they usually are in H4? Like, do they have weaker stats?
No, I don't think so, no.
Oh my god. Yeah. And he's got such a big group of rods and skirms to protect them. Oh, these organ guns are just going to get blasted. Oh, no. Oh,
look at the unpack. Back in the day, the organ guns could have killed like 2 probably of the horse artillery there, because the unpack animation used to be so terrible with horse artillery. But a few patches ago, the horse artillery unpack animation got buffed. And so it really does not take a lot of time for them to unpack anymore. So yeah, horse artillery are just insane here.
Oh, Dennis even has some missionaries in the back. Did you see those, Lion? He's got 3 missionaries at the back of his army.
Yeah, he was using them earlier to heal all of his units. It's just the icing on the cake. It really is.
Yeah. And I mean, so much of the Portuguese army is just hanging back. I don't think he knows how to engage this fight.
No, he needs to wait for culverins. That is, you know, unless he's going to go for heavy cav, he needs culverins. And is he going for them? Yeah, he is making culverins. That's nice. But has he got anything to back it up? He's shipping goons as well. Maybe he's got a timing here. Maybe he does have a timing. If Dennis loses all of his horse artillery, then there's a possibility here. Unction has just come in though as well. Look at those beautiful rings around those guys. They're all going to get buffed now. He's got a lot of those units as well from Unction. So yeah, his mass is just so strong right now.
Oh my god. Whatever this fight is about to be, it's about to be ugly, because the halberdiers look like they want to get engaged on the lancers, and the lancers trying to get their way onto the cassadors. Meanwhile, the artillery firing from the back. And let's see if the culverins can get another one of those horse artillery. Another one is going to go down, but the engagement is here. The culverins are now going to die, and I think this is GG for the port player.
Yeah, I can't see any halberdiers left. Once they go down, it's just GG. I don't think he has any organ guns there either. Oh no, he does have some halberdiers left actually. If he can clean up, and then if he can put the halberdiers in guard mode to tank some of that, to tank some of the shots on the skirms, he might be able to do it. No, he's just not got enough stuff, I don't think. Oh, Goon's popping, but the Goons should have been popping on the artillery. Instead, they run around. No, that was such a good opportunity to kill that horse artillery. Oh, yeah, just mistakes. Unfortunately, a couple of little mistakes from GuiliuG. But the scores, he's keeping the scores close. He's on 59 villagers.
Yeah, but so is Dennis. I mean, Dennis is pretty much, yeah, he's bridged the gap in villagers. And so now the economic advantage that GuiliuG used to have is just no longer there.
Yeah, 4K score difference now. Looking pretty GG. I mean, Spain have sort of the better units as well. They've got the Rodoleros, which is such a good unit, especially when they're being buffed by Unction. Few organ guns coming out though, and I don't see many rods or cav, so he's gonna have to push back. He's gonna have to extend this game just a little bit longer.
God, those horse artillery are so fast. I'm not used to artillery moving that quick.
Yeah, I think they're getting healed as well. Is that horse artillery been healed? No, I think he can. I believe he can heal it with the priest. So
he's got a lot of them too. He's got like 6, 7 missionaries back here.
Yeah, so the missionaries, the more missionaries you got, the more it buffs with Unction. The more it buffs the units. I think it's attack. What do you call it? I think it's the attack rate that it buffs the damage.
Oh, he's even got his skirmishers in loose formation. I think. Look at that, Dennis, cheeky.
Yeah, going in with the Rolos, there was interesting huzzas there, but that's just not the right unit here. Oh, organ gun's going down. He builds one culverin, and I think this might be finally the GG button may be called here. There it is.
There it is. 1-0 for Dennis, but yeah. I really liked GuiliuG's starting strategy there of playing really aggressively. I think what the problem was is he started out with an aggressive build, and then he sent really, really eco-heavy cards, rather than going, like you said, with those organ guns and the Haubs right away.
Well, the mistake, yeah, there was just a couple of mistakes in GuiliuG's build order. I don't know how often he plays ports, but one, he didn't go for the fort, and two, he didn't go for the 10-10, which would have been better in this build, and he didn't go for a TP. Not getting a TP really, really hurts his tempo here because he doesn't get all the shipments out that he wants in Age 3. What you want to do is get Fatorius, 700 gold, save your next shipment for a fort, or military units in Age 3, and then you kind of just want to kind of progress from there. Just keep, as long as you keep the free TCs alive, you can just keep building free TCs, and once the fort goes down, eventually you'll outscale. Dennis did come prepared though with the advanced artillery, which would have been a good shout, but the fort the fort would have stayed alive long enough for Portugal to kind of get their mass together, and I think there was just I think GuiliuG just made a few errors in his build order.
Yeah, well said. But, I mean, GuiliuG definitely not going down easy here because, like you were saying at the beginning, there were talks about this just being a clean sweep, and I'm not so convinced. GuiliuG putting up a really good fight in Game 1.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely close at some points. It looked like that GuiliuG may have a potential comeback from there. But, yeah, looking forward to the rest of this series. Game 1 goes to Dennis. I am just going to leave the stream with you for a second, Mr. V, because I need to go get something to eat real quick and get another drink. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, do your thing. While he's doing that, that's a good time for me to kind of look at the chat here and make sure I'm keeping up to date. Yeah, wow. 206 people. That is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is, like we said, the ESOC TV 2024 Spring Championships. As far as I know, this is the first series that we've casted of this tournament. But yeah, Dennis versus GuiliuG. Dennis just took Game 1, winning with Spain against GuiliuG's ports. And in case you guys weren't here for the Civ bans, we do have Dennis's Hausa being banned, and we do have GuiliuG Spain being banned. So we won't see either of those Civs from either of these players. It is a best of 7. Yeah, I think I hit all the important information. But really good stuff. Really good stuff. Okay. Perfect. So I was just told by Joshua that the players are taking a quick 1-minute break, which is perfect because we can show off one of the features for the ESOC Spring Championship streams, which is we have the head-to-head information from each player. So if you guys look at the middle, kind of in between me and Lion's cameras, you'll see that Den has won precisely 8 times versus GuiliuG in the past. Well, make that 9 now. and GuiliuG has won 5 games against Dennis. So the proof is in the pudding, right? GuiliuG has shown that he can beat Dennis. And Dennis obviously showing that he can beat GuiliuG. So anybody's series, really, I think Dennis is the clear favorite at this point, but definitely not a complete underdog story. So, yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. This is not the first series, so maybe I was wrong about that. Just checking the chat here. Awesome. Okay. Just waiting for Lion to get back. I need his handsome face. He's the one that brings all the people in. So, it looks like in the round of 16, from what I'm seeing here, the winner of this game will go on to play Grogu. Let me see here. Yeah. So I've got the bracket pulled up now. Okay. I see. Round of 16. Yeah. So the winner of this goes on to play Grogu. And then the winner of that series between Grogu and the winner of this will either play against Izad or Hawk. But I'm looking at this bracket, and we have some seriously good players still left in the tournament. I'm King of Osmane. I am Turk. We have Kevin. We have Robrat. Yeah, like I said before, Izad. We have Frontline, Look Tom, Lucas. So some of the big names in the community are still in this tournament. So it's bound to be a good one. Still tons and tons and tons of games left to play. And I can't wait to see each and every one.
I like how you didn't mention me with all the when you was mentioning all the good players on the list.
Well, it's because you're not.
Oh, shots fired. It's supposed to be a nice. I'm the toxic one, not you.
Hey, no, I can say that because I am bad. Like you're good. I'm legit bad. I only play one Civ and I can't even get to 1500. I mean, what does that say? So, no, oh yeah, your name is in there. Lionheart
yeah,
versus...
now you see it. Now
yeah,
you see
well,
it.
so you haven't played Batu yet. That's who you're playing?
Yes, I've got Batu next. I think we're playing tomorrow, actually. Maybe tomorrow.
Right. Oh, yeah. There are some other players I missed. Conqueror, Bulldog, Soldier, Easy. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I did miss a couple of players. It's been a long time since I've read a bracket. I always read brackets wrong.
I just wanted you to read out what my current name is in the game. That's all.
Oh, yeah?
Someone's feet?
Oh. You are...
Amaranth's feet.
You are incorrigible.
Yeah, the things I would do to those feet. Anyways.
Oh. So, Lion,
so next
like
game's going to be Ivory Coast. I love how we've got Joshua talking to us and no one can hear him.
do you feel the same way I do, like the new news anchors with the earpieces in? That's how I feel right now. Like I'm getting breaking news that I have to deliver to the audience. That's awesome. So Ivory Coast.
See how many F-bombs I can drop before Joshua tells me off.
In this region, the coast is lined with mangrove trees and lagoons, which give way to grassy plains and eventually a plateau. The Ivory Coast is an important hub for trade. The naval trade route connects Africa with Europe and the Americas, while its counterpart on the mainland connects the coast to the savannah, and controlling these routes is critical for victory. The land trade route bisects the plateau in the north, so each team has access to easily defendable resources away from the water.
Well, I guess... Oh, no, what's happened there? Where's the game gone?
We are the game, Lion. It's all been a trick.
Oh, well, hot off the press, we have a Lakota mirror. A Lakota mirror. We might as well just call it a lame mirror, to be quite honest with you. I don't know if you know much about the tier list at the moment, Mr. V, but Lakota is kind of like one of those secret OP civs, and I don't know why it's kind of secret. No one really is talking about it enough, but yeah, Lakota is pretty damn strong at the moment. So I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a Lakota mirror, so this could be interesting. Could see very different strats.
I have not seen a Lakota mirror since like the old days. So I don't really know what the DE strategies are for Lakota against Lakota. I'm guessing it's going to be something pretty heavily based in Age 3. Am I wrong about that, or does it usually play out in the Fortress Age?
No, usually I think it's going to play out in Age 2. So the popular build at the moment is that's the thing about Lakota. Lakota's like meta has changed quite a lot. The problem is there's not actually that many Lakota mains, so sometimes it's quite difficult, and the meta can take time to catch up. But at the moment, the meta is very much quite heavy Age 2 rush. We're about to go on a map where there's a decent TP line as well. So I can see there being a kind of war hut rush between both of these guys to try and vie for the middle TP line stagecoach.
Yeah, that's what people in the chat are saying. Like Stigaboo just said that. He said it's going to be a fight around the TP line, which that makes sense to me. Now, the main unit you're going to see in Age 2, are you going to be seeing pretty, heavy infantry spam, or are you just going to see a lot of bow rider?
Yeah, you're going to see infantry spam. You're probably going to see the club warriors and the Seaton bows with like the cavalry shipments and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, that is kind of the sort of mare, but that's not to say that Lakota don't have some really other good builders. As we've seen recently, and I've posted some of these on my YouTube channel as well, about the kind of advanced market meta as well. There was kind of a little bit of a kind of resurgence of this advanced market, considered basically the most trash card in Supremacy in the game. And then all of a sudden, you see a few civilizations, they've got this advanced market kind of meta where they get that starting TP, they ship advanced market second card, and essentially Lakota have got lots of really good eco cards where they can put all of their villagers onto food and essentially just sell from the advanced market, because you get really good buy and sell rates, and then sell for all the gold, and then buy the wood, all you need, and literally you just stick all of your villagers onto food. So we could kind of see a fast fortress or fast industrial doing that type of build. I think it's unlikely with both of these guys. I think we're going to see much more standard play, but that is another sort of a really strong build in the meta with Lakota. So Lakota have got more than one really strong build at the moment.
Wow, that was so much.
Yeah,
game
I would be creaming if we see that. Yeah.
If you see Age 4 Lakota.
Oh, if I see advanced market Lakota, I'll cream pretty hard. You'll see splodges on my camera.
Oh my god.
But, the Lakota FF/FI build is really, really fun, honestly. It's so fun to watch. Because you never get to see Tashunki anymore. That's, RIP to Fitzbro. Shout outs to Fitzbro. Go and follow that man. But you never get to see Tashunki anymore because they got moved to Age 4. This is like over a year ago, I think now. And when you see the kind of those FI builds, you get to see that sort of unit again, which is really fun. So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Man can dream.
I like what you were pointing out about just Lakota having a lot more builds than they used to, because it feels like back in the day, Lakota were kind of a one-trick pony where it was just a lot of, Age 2 raid play. And once you were able to, get to Age 3 and get out, a good mix of Skirm Dragoon, then Lakota just kind of fell off and it was just GG. But nowadays, they can do builds that aren't just make bow riders and raid.
Yeah, 100%. And I they can still do those sort of builds, but they're just not as strong as their really early aggressive builds that are in the current meta. So I honestly don't know if I've seen either of these guys play Lakota before. So I'm actually surprised that we're seeing a double Lakota. Particularly, I wouldn't have thought we saw Lakota at all, let alone a double Lakota. So double the fun. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're loaded in. Yep, we are loading in. Ivory Coast, Lakota Mir, let's go.
Sweet, sweet. Here we go. Ivory Coast, a map I haven't seen in a long time, so I'm really glad that this map is on the tournament pool here. I guess it's my turn to do a very much less professional introduction than you, Mr. V, but I'll go for it anyway. Here we are in a Lakota mirror. We've got Big Dennis. Dennis is in blue, starting on the right side of the map, going up against GuiliuG on the left side of the map. I think this is going to be who can hold on to the TP line in the middle. You see, one thing to know about this map, and I'm a little bit gutted that this map hasn't been on the ranked pool in such a long time, because it used to be near the beginning of DE. This was on the ranked map pool, and I think it was one of the Africa civs when they came out. So when Africa came out, this was on the ranked pool for quite a while, and it's a really good map because you've got so many options. You've got the water play, you've got TP line. Not only have you got a middle TP line, but you've got like a safer TP as well on the bottom of the screen on either side. And that's kind of the boat TP line. So there's loads of options. And you've got really, really heavy food herds as well here. So you'll notice across the map that you've got lots of elephants everywhere. So there's lots of natural res on this map as well. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a high octane H2 game.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to point out is you've got a good mix of really easy to take treasures, but then you've got some of these beefier ones here. Towards the bottom of the map by the coast, you have 80 wood, you have 80 coin down here, and I thought we had an explorer fight there for a second, but yeah, just really, really good mix of treasures here. So you could gather a lot of resources in the early game.
Yeah, so what's funny about the beginning of this game is both these guys have clearly done their research on this map, because you'll notice that they both went for the middle, near the bottom of the middle. And that's where that's where on this map a few big treasures spawn. So they both went directly there to begin with to try and find those big treasures. And they kind of both saw each other. They both know there's big XP or big treasures there. So they're kind of playing that bluff game of, is he, will he, won't he, will he, won't he? But GuiliuG has played a nice game here of just completely, getting out of there, going back, getting some treasures that you can already see. And, Dennis called the bluff as well and went for one of the big treasures. So there's always that little bit of interesting mind games at the beginning of the game here where, there's always that treasure mind game of, calling someone's bluff. Are you going to go back? Are you waiting just around the corner? So, yeah, a little bit tense to begin with here, but both these guys picking up treasures, so I think they're both going to be happy with that start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you said about, players doing their homework, doing the research. And I think that separates, your good players from your really, really high-level guys. The guys at the highest level, they just know the map so well, and they prepare for it, right? They do their research, they do their homework, which when it comes to Age of Empires 3, it sounds weird, but, you got to practice. You got to figure out where the best treasures are, where the fastest build orders are. And, it's clear to me that, as you said, both players have really been putting the work in behind the scenes to make success today as likely as possible for each of them. But things are looking really even here in the early game. I don't see any significant advantages popping out, at least right away.
No, and it'd be interesting to see what both these guys' age-ups are. So we're currently on GuiliuG. Bit of treasure contention. Oh, are we going to see a treasure steal? No, it looks good for Dennis, I think. Yeah, Dennis has got it. But is he going to die? Is he going to lose his Explorer for it? That's always interesting. He gets the treasure, but if he loses his Explorer, then I think GuiliuG is going to be really happy with that. Because don't forget, if this is going to be a big TP game here, then losing your Explorer at this stage of the game is going to be huge. And we already see villagers going forward. I think they're going to be for the War Hut, but he may lose his Explorer before he gets that TP up. That's going to be huge. But is Dennis going to get the age up? I don't think he is. So this is going to be really good advantage here for GuiliuG, already putting down his War Hut.
Yeah, and I mean, killing that Explorer is a treasure in itself, because I think correct me if I'm wrong here, Lion, but if you killed the native War Chief, that's 100 XP right away.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he didn't kill the Explorer before the TP went up. I don't know how much damage Lakota, but yeah, it was unfortunately, it was about 10-15 seconds too late, so almost got the Explorer. However, killing an Explorer that early, don't forget, the native Explorers, they are so insane because they have so much HP, so it's such a huge advantage taking down your opponent's Explorer at this stage of the game, because you lose all of that ability to kind of tank, to just, do whatever a hero does. And yes, that's a really great start. Plus, like you said, the 100 XP, that is a huge start from GuiliuG here. Not only that, is he's forced, because his hero was low HP here, he has forced Dennis. You saw the forward villagers, but they have been forced all the way back to his DC. So already GuiliuG, because his Explorer had more HP and could apply that pressure earlier, he's already taken the map control. So huge advantage here for GuiliuG at this stage of the game. This is not what Dennis wanted to happen.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, GuiliuG is really being the one with all the initiative at this point in the game. And he's actually getting some of these, Vills belled up here for Dennis, going to cut off some of that gather time. And I don't think this is where Dennis wanted to be. I don't think he wanted to be on the back foot. I think he wanted to be the one pushing out with his infantry, securing the middle of the map. But now it looks like GuiliuG is the one taking down that trading post even.
Yeah, he got those cav out early as well, and we saw him kill a villager there. So not only is he taking the map control, just the icing on the cake is that he's managed to kill a villager as well. So should be up in the economy, takes down the TP, and just a fantastic start here from GuiliuG. It really is. I think what he needs to do is he needs to take a chill pill for a second. And I think what he's done is he has established the map control. He has established the TP line here. So if he just plays this slow, doesn't make any huge mistakes, doesn't dive in, lose all of his units, he can comfortably control the TP line here, which I think should be his priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And continuing to harass Dennis in his base. I love that he's not, being too aggressive here, not losing any of these Axe Riders, but being just pesky enough to kind of throw Dennis off his game and not just sit there and allow him to build and boom undisturbed. But if we look at the middle of the map now, it is just stained in red. I mean, 2 trading posts already secured for GuiliuG, getting that second one down now. And if Dennis does not push this, the economic advantage for GuiliuG is just going to grow and grow and grow. And if we do get into the third age and start seeing some of those units come out, we're going to see a distinct advantage for the red player.
Yeah, the only thing I can see GuiliuG doing here is getting a little bit too greedy, going for too many TPs too quickly, and go for the stagecoach upgrade. And that would be such a heavy investment that will give Dennis an opportunity there. If he's spending all of his resources straight into army, that's going to give him an ability to get back into this game and take control of the map again. So as long as GuiliuG doesn't allow that to happen and doesn't get too greedy here, and I think he should be fine. Cutting down a second war hut as well, just really rubber stamping down map control. But 4 cav coming out for Dennis. Like I said, is this the timing that he's going to need? He needs to run back to his 2 war huts, dive in there and just pray that he can do enough to stay in this game there for as long as possible.
Honestly, I think GuiliuG's going to be all right. And one thing that I almost missed there is he did kill Dennis's War Chief, picked up 100 XP there. You can see the War Chief dead right in the middle of the battlefield. But now more Axe Riders coming in for Dennis, and this is where we might see the greed start to bite GuiliuG, because now these C-10 bows have no protection. They're trying to kite around this war hut, but the clubs and the Axe Warriors are on them. C-10 bows in the back doing lots of DPS. And now the red army is just being decimated. Lion, is this exactly what Dennis needs to get back in the game?
Yeah, and this is exactly what I said. Do not get too greedy. Make sure. And I don't understand why he was pushing outside of the 2 war huts. There was no need for him to push outside of his 2 war huts, because he was just asking for trouble, and Dennis gave him the trouble.
Oh, man, and now more Club Warriors coming in, going to give some good siege for blue, which is what he needs if he's going to take down these war huts, and there's no way that red can challenge the current forces here. And this might be the second timeline that we've seen GuiliuG take the early advantage, but then bite off a little bit more than he can chew economically, and there it is! Game 2, GuiliuG has resigned. Just an 8-minute, 49-second game, 2-0 in favor of Dennis.
Oh, God, what a throw. If I was GuiliuG right now, I would be kicking myself with both feet, because that was his game, even from, the transition on the age up, getting the map control, getting this stagecoach map control, so important, especially in a mirror matchup. And he had it, but he went and threw it. He walked outside of his war huts. Oh, I'm angry for him. And he did no need to push out, no need whatsoever. He should have just stayed within his war hut base, just made the pikes, made the setons, and just chilled out and let his war hut do all the work. But yeah, I mean, he paid the price. Like I said, he got too greedy. His micro wasn't as good as it could have been. And Dennis really smart play from Dennis to do the cav switch. That just came out of nowhere. Like, we did not see that until the last second. And yeah, Axe Riders, very, very good cavalry unit. And smart play by Dennis.
Yeah, I thought that GuiliuG was going to be able to hold that initial push because when those original 4 Axe Riders came in, he was kind of able to kite around his war huts and the Axe Riders started to fall. And then those 5 reinforcing cav came in. And I think that was really the decider in that fight. And once it was cleaned up, I think, you know, GuiliuG throwing that game pretty early, but realistically, what could he have done at that point? He would have lost both war huts. He would have lost both trading posts. And at that point, you lose so much infrastructure. There really is no recovering at this level, is there?
No, I mean, it just comes down to micro. It just purely comes down to micro, and what GuiliuG needed to do was kind of make it as frustrating for his opponent as possible. Maybe could have even added a couple of walls or just, you know, whatever it might have been. But what he didn't do was you know, really turtle up and hard, because you saw him put down the investment with the TPs. That was 400 wood. I don't know if he got stagecoach, but if he did, that's an added 400 resources on the 400 wood. So that's 800 resources in total for 2 TPs with stagecoach. That 800 resources was spent by Dennis putting down a stable and getting those Axe Riders. So yeah, it just went too greedy. It just went too greedy, and he paid for it.
Yeah. Say that again, Joshua, in my earpiece. I think I heard a Civ matchup. Oh, Lionheart. We have India versus Mother Russia.
Mother Russia.
This is going to be great.
This is going to be great. This is what... Painted Desert is a lonely open range with scattered mesas and rich ore deposits. Hunting is plentiful, but wood is a little scarcer than normal. Lost cows can also be found wandering among the mesas. A string of 4 Apache and Navajo villages divides the map into 2 symmetrical halves.
Well, that was a beautiful map intro. The voice sounded kind of dumb, but, you know, that's fine. And here we are on Painted Desert. Ladies and gentlemen, in the south of the map, in the color blue, we have Dennis playing as India. And in the north of the map, playing in the color yellow as the Russians. We have GuiliuG picking up a treasure immediately, gathering up his wood and getting his first animal killed. Russia versus India. I think one of them is distinctly known for playing aggressive, that being Russia. And the other Civ, India, used to be known for being pretty aggressive with the Agrifort placement. Maybe we'll see the Agrifort again today. But Lionheart, what are we going to see out of Dennis's India?
Well, what you see from Dennis's India already is he's played this right, and this map is really, really good for India, right? Because what he's done at the start of the game, he's taken both his heroes out. He's explored the middle part of the map, which is where all the free livestock is on the map. And what hurts my heart a little bit is I think GuiliuG, I'm not sure he's done his research. He hasn't done his homework on this map, because at the beginning of the game, he went for treasure behind his TC rather than go out into the middle of the map, try and deny those livestock. And because every livestock you give India, you give like basically a 0.1 XP trickle. And so if you get, you get sort of 6 or 7 of them, he's going to basically have a free church at the beginning of the game. So already, yes, this is a non-TP map, but because of the livestock, Dennis basically has a free TP here.
Yeah, that's a good point. That XP for India is just so strong. And the thing that I'm going to be looking forward to the most is seeing which wonder India decides to go with. We could see a defensive Agrifort. We could see Carnimata. We could see a more aggressive Agrifort, though I don't think that's super likely. Shake making a good point here in the chat. If Dennis goes for just an in-base Agra and is able to hold off the original, you know, kind of push from the Russian player in the early second age, that could leave India in a really good position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dennis is going to be... I mean, you look at the layout of his base, it could be... I mean, he wants to secure that mine that's right on under his right on top of his TC. So he'll probably put his aggro fort either in front of that or to kind of the left of his TC. I think he's going to play it safe. Yes, Russia have... I mean, this matchup is quite close, actually, to be honest with you. But as Russia, you've got to know how to play it. That's the important thing here. You have to be an experienced Russia to know what your timings are in this matchup, to know the ratio of strelets and muskets and cav that you need. Because in this matchup, you want all three of those units, whilst India would generally can kind of make, you know, whatever sort of units they really want, a bit of mishmash of everything. Can we just see in total how many cows, how many livestock there is? I think I can count 4. Yes, no, 5, sorry. So, okay, so we've basically got 5 second cows. So that's close enough to a free church on the XP trickle side of things as you can get. So a really good start from him. That's a really good way of giving India extra tempo here because they get quicker shipments. And I think, okay, so we've got the aggro fort to the right of the base. Very, very defensive. Lots of good natural resources on this map. It's all going to be about how well GuiliuG can push the agenda here, how many vills he can snipe early on, whatever the pressure is. Dennis is already, he's got like a really safe house behind his TC. So Dennis is just playing really, really smart throughout the game here so far.
Yeah, and GuiliuG has scouted the aggro fort, so he does know what's coming. But other than that, it seems to me like he's playing this pretty standard age up time, going with the 14-vil age up. And we do see the blockhouse going down in the middle of the map, in between the 2 coin mines. I like how it's kind of nestled into the trees there. It's almost kind of hard to see if you're not looking for it. But we see walls coming out from Dennis. And I actually was not expecting walls from India, but that just might be one more layer that Russia's going to have to try to beat with those kind of subpar units. And along with the TC fire and the aggro fort, if I was Russia, I would not be excited to try to break into this shell.
No, really nice layout here by Dennis. Really nice little walls there. And the idea of that is not to block him off completely, but it's just to make really frustrating choke points for Russia. Give a little bit of line of sight so he sees what's coming, when it's coming, and just make the fights for him really difficult, because those walls are either going to force him to go towards the aggro, or it's going to cause really bad choke points. And don't forget the aggro fort, it has an area of effect with the bombard attack. So if you're forcing units into a choke point, they're going to clump up together. So the aggro fort is going to do more damage to more units. So yeah, those walls are really, really smart. But you know, GuiliuG shouldn't just kind of siege them, really.
Yeah, and we even see a second blockhouse coming down for GuiliuG now. And the one thing about pushing India that's going to make it hard on top of the walls, on top of the aggro fort, is just the diversity of units that India has in H2, right? They have anti-cav, they have light infantry, they have heavy infantry. Their melee cav's not the best, but when you're up against Russian infantry, it'll do the job. And you have those 2 explorer elephants, which can soak up so much strelet fire, so much musket fire. And so, you know, India's composition is just really, really good at dealing with Russia in the second age. And whereas Russia likes these really long H2 engagements to get really cost-effective fights, India can kind of deal with that better than other civs can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what GuiliuG's doing. I mean, he looks like he's playing quite greedy here. Usually in this matchup, I'd like to see, you know, I always like to see the 5 Cossacks in their base at 5 minutes, you know, 5 minutes 10, just harassing. Don't let them build, you know, the infrastructure where they want, make their villagers suffer, maybe kill a few villagers if you can here and there. But it looks like GuiliuG. Can we have a look at his deck and see what his build order's been? Because it looks like he's been a lot greedier this time. So he's gone for the standard age 1 card, but then he's gone for 700 wood and then 700 gold. Interesting. So he's playing this really, really greedy, actually. And I think he's going for, like, what he's going to be doing, he's put 2 blockhouses down. So he's clearly going to be going for some kind of timing here with the cav as well. So, yeah, I'm not sure about being greedy here. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it just seems to me like GuiliuG is not quite sure what to do with his units, just sieging some walls right now. And he's got a very standard Russia deck from the looks of it. No huge tricks up his sleeves, you know, no big musketeer or strele play. I don't know, is he gearing up to go H3? It certainly doesn't seem like it.
No, I think he just wants to kind of mass. He's just gone for a greedy build order, and it's not a bad build order. You know, you can do this with Russia, and basically what you're doing is rather than just kind of butt rushing in at 5 minutes with units in there, he's trying to get a good timing here, and it could work. You know, if the timing works well, then you know that's great. But I don't know. I'm not convinced against India that that's the play. I think you've got to harass them a bit earlier on, and then kind of try to outscale as the game goes on. But it looks like he's going to just kind of mass the amount of units that he wants and go for one big oorah. But Dennis definitely doesn't. Cheeky Dennis there definitely does not want to be risking anything with this amount of cap here. Very, very risky player there by Dennis. Could potentially throw the game there.
Yeah, and he's got the Imperial Hussars as well. So it looks like he spent the export to get those units in. He's got quite a few cav of his own, and it looks like the push is coming in here, but there's just not a lot of units. I mean, granted, it's a big stack, but these are also Russian units. So it looks scary, but you got to remember that most of these are Strelets and Cossacks. And nice job by Dennis, doing a lot of really good kiting around his building. And GuiliuG not able to get any sort of engagement there, and he's played his hand now. He's shown Dennis exactly what he has.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a really nice mass of cavalry, but Dennis has played this really. He's gone for the Ottoman consulate, so he's going to get the cav. He's got the Azaps as well for the anti-cav, so the cavalry aren't going to be able to achieve a lot. However, saying that, there wasn't that many skirms, so killing Strelets is not a big deal because they're obviously a very cheap unit. So I do think at some point, no, GuiliuG is going to have to add in the anti-cav. He's going to have to get the Ruskets in there at some point, but he's just going pure Strelet Cossack, and I don't know. It's such a high risk, high reward type build here. I think he's going to need to add that anti-cav. Otherwise, Dennis is going to catch on here. He's already got a decent massive cav already, and if he adds some Zams, it could be GG.
Mm-hmm. Can we get a quick look at the villager count? There's currently 31 for India, and then Russia is at 29. So, I mean, Dennis still has the villager advantage. He's got a good military. His economy has been pretty much unchallenged this entire game. And while Russia is seizing some map control, I'm just not sure what GuiliuG's next move is. Is it to continue to mass Cav and Strelet and just hopefully get a good fight?
Yeah, I mean, what's happening now is Dennis is starting to be the aggressive one. He's quite confident in the amount of units he's got. He's been aggressive, which is good. You know, he's taken pop shots off at GuiliuG's army. So I think what GuiliuG probably wants to do now is he wants to be the one that defends, and he wants Dennis to be the aggressor here. Dive into the double blockhouse and then kind of take a really good fight and just kind of outlast him, you know, get the units out from the blockhouse and just kind of, you know, win the skirmish that way. If it doesn't get to that, then he's kind of probably try and back off and just outboom or outscale. He's got the map here. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult. I mean, the scores are really, really close, right? And you can't look at the scores too much, but you know, Dennis is going to be fine. He's got a herd to the left of his base as well, so he really doesn't need to take any risks here. Whilst I feel like Russia are the one that need to take the risks here.
Yeah, I definitely think the impetus is on Russia to make something happen. And he's continuing to pour into Strelet, excuse me. That T is not silent. I just found that out. I've been saying Strelet for years, and I was just told that it was incorrect. So
I say everything wrong, mate. Don't worry. I get told off all the time, so.
Yeah. I mean, just continuing to make Strelet and Cossack here, which, you know, it's a good composition for early age too, but as we get later into the game, I'm not exactly sure. Is there going to be some sort of transition into a different unit? Looks like we have maybe a pause here currently.
Yeah, a little bit of a pause. Yeah, Dennis has paused by the looks of it. I mean, don't forget as well, Russia can get I think they're called Porachuks now, so they can get the Halberdiers in H2 as well, those Halberdier type units, which, although they're generally not as good as the Ruskets generally for almost everything, they are good when your opponent is on top of your blockhouses. So maybe, you know, like I said, I think he just wants to bait Dennis into being like, you can see Dennis, he's just itching, like it's just part of his DNA when it comes to playing this game. He has to be aggressive here. He has to constantly try and harass, constantly try and take pop shots. And maybe what GuiliuG wants to do is just bait him in. Maybe give Dennis the illusion that he might be trying to age up or something like that might be happening. rotate him into both of the blockhouses, and that's when he takes the fight. Get a good cavalry pop, whatever it might be, pop some of those halberdiers, and just kind of try and win the game.
This is the engagement we've been waiting for, and both players have a ton of cav and a ton of light infantry here, but I think actually Dennis is getting the better side of this here. The Cossacks can't seem to get engaged, and so now a lot of the Strele going down here, and there's still so many cav alive. The Gurkhas in the back still doing DPS, and
this is depressing. This is so depressing. I mean, the majority, literally 2/3 of his Cossacks weren't fighting for, you know, the first 10, 15 seconds of that fight. It was just terrible micro by GuiliuG, honestly. Like, he needed to pull trick, do something to get his cavalry into the front there and do, because his Strelets just got absolutely nuked by all of the cavalry. But, you know, there were so many goons there that he couldn't snipe as well. And yeah, and you know, Dennis just completely ran away with this game. Just that fight could not have gone any worse for GuiliuG, which is a little bit unfortunate because his build order wasn't bad, but I don't think it was the right build order here. But yeah, no Ruskits, no anti-cav, and Dennis just punished him so hard there.
Yeah. And just the spot where he decided to take the engagement was a little bit strange. I think if he had been able to pull, you know, maybe if he had pulled Dennis behind the blockhouses so that he could have kind of squished in between his army and any reinforcing units, that might have been a little bit better. But because he decided to fight in such a narrow space, his Cossacks couldn't get engaged, and you know, all of the Gurkha and all of the Zams were just able to shoot without taking much punishment for it at all. But yeah, just a really, really bad engagement for Russia. And it feels like all three games, you know, it seems like GuiliuG has been doing a really good job of seizing map control, but then after that, there's always just a fight that either due to micro or due to the unit composition, he loses it really, really hard, and then Dennis just snowballs from there, and the game ends really quickly.
Yeah, and I think this is where the difference between the skill level between these two guys are. Like I said, you know, GuiliuG is a good player, but he's, you know, he is, you know, 200 elo, I would say, you know, lower than Dennis. And I think, you know, just unfortunately that the micro here is showing. GuiliuG might be, you know, GuiliuG might be quite nervous. I don't know how many tournaments he's done before, so he's probably quite nervous, and that could be, you know, part of the reason. This is what's so good about tournaments, is that, you know, everyone suffers from the pressure, right? Everyone suffers from pressure. So, you know, in tournaments you do get mistakes, and that might be what is affecting GuiliuG here.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to turn my light on. I turn off my my light when I'm watching the games because it's just right in my eyes, and then I forget to turn it on, and I'm just sitting. I looked at the stream, and I was just sitting in a dank cave of a room. Man, I gotta get some sunglasses like you. Those are burning my eyes.
Have you ever watched Johnny Quest, Mr. V?
No, that name's not familiar actually.
Oh, okay. Watch the intro. After this, watch the intro to Johnny Quest. Your background is giving me very much Johnny Quest vibes.
I'll take that as a compliment. Joshua, did you just say the matchup and I missed?
The Anatolian Peninsula is the homeland of the Ottoman Empire. Its rugged landscape is bisected by an elongated grassy valley that separates the two players. This valley contains the only trade route and some grazing livestock. Each player begins with a local settlement of Fenarites near their first town.
Okay, game number 4. Are we on game number 4? I think we're on game number 4. Yes, we are. Game number 4, we are on the map Anatolia. Now, this is more of a familiar map because this is still in the current ranked map pool. So most of you should be well aware of this map. Again, It's another livestock map. And again, Dennis has picked another livestock civilization. So Dennis, really doing his homework on these maps, knows exactly how he can gain the maximum amount of benefit on this map. You notice his last game, not only was it a non-TP map, it was also a livestock map. And India, one of his best civilizations, benefits really, really well from the livestock. He's now gone into an Africa civ. Again, they get that livestock market kind of eco. So livestock is going to benefit them even more than it does India. So the perfect match, the perfect civilization for this map. We've also got GuiliuG going as Otto. Now, from his perspective, the reason it looks to me like he's gone for Otto is because it's a very, very good TP map. So both these guys clearly got an idea of what they want to do. You can already see, and look, there's going to be the first shipment as well. I can't remember what it's called. Silk Road. So anyone who doesn't know, Silk Road, it gives you more resources for all of your crate shipments, but it also buffs by 25% all of the resources, including XP. If you want to continue getting XP from TPs for all of your TPs. So you see already going down, double TP. That means he's not going to get a house, but that's okay because he's not going to get overpopped, because if he doesn't ship villagers, then he'll be able to get 10 villagers whilst he's aging up and then get the house in transition. So both of these guys clearly got kind of an idea of what they want to do here. I really like GuiliuG's build at the beginning of this game, but also I really like Dennis's civilization pick on this map as well. So this is going to be a really good game.
And this map just makes for some really interesting play as to where the conflicts happen, because you have kind of this tight alleyway that runs straight up the middle of the map. And so when you are, moving your army through, you have to be very careful about not getting ambushed, not getting trapped in a bad position. And like you said, GuiliuG just seems a little bit more comfortable with this civ. I don't know if Ottoman is one of his mains or if this is just the one he's been practicing most recently, but this build seems really, really crisp at the moment. Now, as far as Ethiopia goes, they do have some really, really powerful units. They can get a really good composition together, and to kind of deal with the Gas Kenya and the Neftanya and anything that might be coming out, the Shotel Warriors, what is the best thing for Ottoman to do in that situation to deal with just that straight up infantry spam that we're probably going to be seeing from Dennis?
I think just good old fashioned Jan Abbas is probably his best bet. It does maybe adding in Cav as well. I'll be honest, because Ethiopia are one of those civilizations that they essentially get a really diverse a diverse pool of units to choose from Age 2. Like we saw in the other game, India gets so many different types of units. Ottoman are very much more limited to Jan, Abbas, maybe Azaps, and then Delhis, and that's it. But he has to pick and choose. If he wants Jans, he has to build a certain infrastructure for that. If he wants Abbas guns, he needs another infrastructure for that. If he wants a stable to get, so he has to pick and choose what he decides to go. Whilst Dennis, he can just build one type of barracks, and he gets essentially lots of different types of units. He gets his cavalry units, his Gas Kenya. There's cards to get skirms, cards to get Abbas guns, all sorts of stuff. So I think Jan Abbas will be the play here. Although, like you said, this map is having a cavalry civ is really beneficial on this map because it's one of those really long maps. It's got a huge kind of separation down the middle. What you want is units that are very movable, very swift, very, like cavalry type units. And they just kind of give you a lot more in this type of map. But we'll see how defensive or aggressive GuiliuG is going to be, because he might be quite defensive, he might be quite aggressive, and that will make a big difference in what he does here.
Yeah, it seems to me that he's going to play this rather aggressive, putting up a barracks in the middle of the map. And I want to go back to him sending Silk Road. He has a lot of resource shipment cards in his deck. And when you send Silk Road, that can be really, really valuable, but that's going to take some time to pay off. And if Ethiopia just decides to mass a ton of units in early Age 2 and push as quickly as possible, I don't know if GuiliuG's going to have time to really utilize that Silk Road shipment before he's going to have to deal with a lot of infantry pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the resource crates, and it looks almost as if he's going he's kind of relying heavily on the shipments as opposed to just going as many TPs as possible, although he is putting his third TP down, which is really good. I mean, the resource crates he does get, I mean, it's basically like instant value, right? Because the shipments almost become 900 resources. So that is a huge value. So once he's got 2 or 3 shipments, you know, that's a lot of extra resources that he's going to have. But like you said, yes, he needs to make sure he's got the kind of the infrastructure down to make sure he's going to benefit from that. And that is going to be the Royal Embassy. I wondered what that was for a second, because if that went down and that was one of the barracks, he would have been in trouble. Dennis would have been in some trouble there. But taking down that Royal Embassy, he will take that. One all day, he'll take that. It's not as valuable as the barracks, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah. And I really like the infrastructure. Once again, this has been, you know, GuiliuG's bread and butter for all 4 games so far. Just getting down military buildings in the center of the map immediately. He now has Abyss guns. I'm sure Janissaries are on the way. And he's even got the Abyss gun improvement in his deck, and he's got the 9 Fanar allies in his deck. So we could be seeing Greek skirms as well, which would be pretty easy to send. It's only 500 coin, and he has the additional coin from Silk Road, so we could basically send that for free. But now the native embassy is down, and 10 Janissaries making their way to Ethiopia's base.
Yeah, he's going to start applying pressure, and that would be interesting if we do see that, as opposed to we are seeing Abyss as well, though. If we can take a look at Dennis's deck here, because it does look like he's going for more of a fast fortress age up, rather than going for that sort of classic triple racks, I call it, the triple racks Red Sea Wagon push here. So it doesn't look like he's got the Red Sea Wagons. He's gone for a fort as well. So he went for the fort, then I'm guessing 700 gold. I think I saw now he's going for 700 wood. So interesting build order here. It kind of looks like a greedy fast fortress, which is what he's going for. He does have the outpost on the age up, so I believe that is the Ethiopia age up he's gone for here. And he's got the fort obviously as well. So along with TC fire, that's going to take a lot of work to take all of that stuff down. His Abyss guns need to get the hell out of there, because if there's one thing that Abyss are bad at, is they get 2 hit by TCs, and you can already see he's decided to back up. I felt like he could have backed up a little while earlier than that, but yeah, probably, you know, it would be okay if he started walking around the other side. He could find other infrastructure there. Instead, he's just kind of completely backed out of there. And he's going to give Dennis a lot of time there. So this fast fortress might actually pay off. If GuiliuG's not going to punish it, this could be dangerous for him.
Yeah, the combination of the town centers, the watchtower, and the castle was just absolutely brutal. And he's even got some Issa warriors now out on the map. So going to make it even harder for GuiliuG to push in if he does decide to take another crack at it. More Abyss guns on the way. But like you said, Abyss guns are really, really vulnerable when it comes to sieging down buildings, just because of the damage they take to town centers. And yeah, I just don't... it's another, you know, situation where GuiliuG has gotten a lot of units out quickly, but I don't know how he's going to push into sort of the defenses that Dennis has been able to put up in the early game.
I think it looks to me as if GuiliuG was kind of expecting more of an H2 kind of play here for Dennis, because he went for early Abyss gun, which is good if you want to have those open fights with your opponent, but it's not good if you want to take down a load of infrastructure, because if that's the case, you want more Janissaries than you do Abyss guns. So he spent a lot of kind of time and resource into making sure he's got Abyss guns just in case, and that's kind of denied him the ability to really hurt the infrastructure of Dennis here. Now he's going to have to do a really long walk all the way around the TC, and that's always super dangerous. He sees the TP as well, which is as high on the map as you could possibly go, and this may be he may be trapping himself here.
And Elite and Neftenia are now out on the map. There's a good batch of these skirmishers here, which means these Janissaries are going to be so vulnerable. And even the Abyss guns will fall fairly quickly if the Neftenia are able to get in close and do their damage. And now that Dennis is in Age 3, I really don't know what this group of H2 Ottoman units is supposed to do. Even if they take out that trading post, I mean, it's just buying Dennis so much time to keep sending those really powerful cards. We could be seeing 9 Showtells. We could be seeing the mortar eventually come out to deal with all those Ottoman buildings. I don't know. If you're GuiliuG, do you try to follow up into H3, or do you even have the... I mean, he doesn't have near enough coin to do so, but maybe that's what you start macroing for?
it's difficult to tell. I mean, Cav's coming out now. Wow, that's interesting. So and I see 4 Delhi there by GuiliuG. So I think he can stay in H2. That's kind of fine. Abyss guns are really, really good, even against those skirmishers. Abyss guns kited really well, can do really well here. I think maybe making more Cav is a really good option. But the problem is with that, it takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of micro to know how to utilize all 3 units together.
But look at this engagement. It's going pretty well for Dennis here. Now more cavalry reinforcements on the way, and all but one of the Delhi's dead. I don't know. I think this might be Ethiopia's fight to take if he can catch up to the Ottoman Abyss guns.
Yeah, he's getting the age up in here as well. And are they Oromo warriors? Wow. I mean, it's not every day you see Oromo warriors. That is a new one for me. Maybe Dennis coming out here with some secret new tech that we've not seen before, because you very rarely see Oromo warriors. They're a very interesting, unique unit as well. They're basically a heavy cav unit that have a charged shot ability. So, their first attack is more like a goon type attack, and then they follow up into melee. So they're a very weird kind of unit to control. But they're a decent unit. They got buffed a while back because they were just very rarely used. But usually what you see is the coyote type runner that Ethiopia do have, because they are one of the best cavalry type units in the game. But so that's really cool seeing. I'm really happy that we're getting to see Aroma Warriors, because that is not a unit you see every day.
Yeah, he sent the 4 Aroma Warriors as his his second card in H3, and just sent 1,000 coin. But it looks like GuiliuG is going to resign, and that is a clean 4-0 sweep in favor of Dennis.
Yeah, GG, well played. I think GuiliuG, yeah, I mean, that was a fun game to see that, see the Aroma Warriors. Again, I think GuiliuG's build orders were pretty good, to be honest, in most of the maps. I did, other than the Russia game, I quite liked his build orders, but just got out microed really this game, and he didn't know how to punish his opponent. But Dennis played pretty flawlessly in every single matchup, and yeah, Dennis looking pretty scary actually. And GuiliuG coming in saying GG, well played. GG, well played to you, GuiliuG. There was a couple of games there where it did look like you could have taken the game, especially like the Lakota mirror and whatnot. So yeah, he was looking good in some of those games, but Dennis showing why he is a beast, to be honest.
Yeah, and earlier on, I just want to shout this out. I think we had a raid from Jaeger. Yeah, we had a raid from Jaeger, raiding with a party of 16. Thank you for that, man. We're currently at 257 viewers, all here for your beautiful face line. So thank you, thank you for bringing in the big viewership.
The big guns.
The big guns. Oh man. I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal this, but I'm going to. I think we have another series we're casting yet today. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I think we're doing the show match, right?
I believe so. Which?
Yes, the big Julian show match, right?
Oh yeah, Julian versus Frontline.
That's the one.
Perfect. Well, you hype it up. I am going to go grab some water, and I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. Hype. So Frontline versus Julian. Julian not in the tournament, but I believe Frontline is. And so this could be a good, as long as he doesn't give away too much. The thing about Frontline is he's not one of those build order players that he's very much like he'll adapt to the situation, and he's quite a greedy player. So he won't be giving too much away. He's a very good player, and maybe wants to instill the fear and show why he's one of the favorites of this tournament. All right, let's have a look at chat, you bunch of trolls. What are you talking to me about? I'm the closest thing to an Age of Empires 3 encyclopedia. You know when Callan's back, don't you? You always know when Callan's back. Will the show match be live, McJim? Yes, it very much is live. They're just getting set up now, McJim. What is Lionheart? Lionheart's me, baby. Pauline. Choline, choline, choline. Who is Lionheart? How is Lionheart? What is Lionheart? How's everyone doing? See Big Misha, Big Hazza, Sim6. How you doing, everyone? So both these guys are going to be playing the tournament, the current tournament settings by the looks of it. A fat pig with sunglasses. That is going to be the next title of my stream. When is Lionheart? What's up, TatCaf? How you doing?
Did somebody mention sunglasses?
Oh, baby! Now we look like Men in Black. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw Kaleli earlier in the chat. It was like game 2 or 3. He was like, dude, get Mr. V some sunglasses. And I thought I had some in a drawer. I just had to go grab them.
Damn, you're looking good. Yes, Tom Hicko, mate. I am all good. How are you doing, good sir? Mr. V, you are definitely the Will Smith of the duo, though.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty pale to be Will Smith, but I'll take it. Does that mean I get to slap you midstream?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Let me just bend over.
I'm hearing Brit versus Eero for game 1, Lion.
Oh yes, Brit. See, I've got the stream up as well, so I can see it on stream, and yes, I can confirm that it's Brits versus Haudenosaunee. Double points for every time you say Iroquois instead of Haudenosaunee.
I still am not used to that, and the game has been out for years now.
I still call them Houdenays, which was a Aussie Drongo thing. He even had I'm pretty sure he even had an emote for it, which is pretty funny.
Oh.
Right, well, we're getting into it, boys. Both of them are launching the game, so we will be joining them very shortly. Robot saying, "Can you schedule your series for tomorrow?" I think I am. I think I am playing tomorrow, probably around midday. Are you boys that excited to see me 5-0 Batu or 4-0 him?
That's what it's gonna be, baby. Actually, never seen Batu play. What's his ELO?
I don't know. It varies. I think he can get up to maybe 2K, but I think he probably hangs around 1800, 1900 maybe.
Okay.
So yeah.
Are you gonna troll him, or are you gonna actually play standard for once?
Well, my playing standard is trolling, so.
Sorry, I meant like standard, not Lion standard.
I mean, trolly for me is proper troll. So you know, yeah, I might whip out the like the Brazil revolt or something like that. Something you know, handicap myself, give him a chance.
Yeah.
And I've just found out that if I win, then I play Kevin. Ho ho, that will be Jose.
Talk about bending over. Good luck with that one.
Oh, yeah, it'll be Kevin being the one bending over.
Oh, really? Is that what you think?
Let's give him some of this.
Oh man, maybe they'll let you play US 4 times.
Play what 4 times?
Maybe they'll let you play United States 4 times in a row.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's no secret that everyone will be banning my USA.
I wonder why.
That's cool. That's cool. I've still got Mexico. Brunton saying, I want to see your Mexico. Oh, you'll be seeing that, baby. All right, we're loading up. We are loading up. Ah, here we are. You can do the intro. Do you want to do the intro, Mr. V?
Would you let me? Oh man, thank you. It's such an honor.
I'm such a nice
guy.
guy.
In the north of the map, in the color teal, playing as the Brits, we have the JulianK. And in the south of the map, playing in the color blue as the Haudenosaunee, we have Frontline. and gathering up their starting crates. Nobody going for the immediate trading post. And yeah, here we are, set on Great Plains. Plenty of food, which is going to be good news for the Brit player as they eat through food faster than your regular Reddit mod. What do you think about this matchup, Lion?
That Reddit joke's thrown me, man. Yeah, I don't know. This before we get into it, I have to say I have to establish something, okay? Because at the beginning of this game, you said that JulianK was playing in teal, and by the way, the absolute arrogance of playing blue and teal is that's just guys. Come on, give us red and blue, all right, or at least pink. But I need to establish something with chat. Is it teal? Is that color teal? Because I've heard all sorts before. I've heard aquamarine. I've heard sky blue, Caribbean
don't forget cyan.
green.
Cyan too.
Cyan, yeah, I've heard it all, mate. So I think chat, we need to agree on what once and for all the community needs to come together to agree what color this is. Turquoise.
Freaking Gaius. Oh my God.
People are saying cyan though. So okay. JPC, of course.
There we
just
go.
Has to be different, of course.
My boy John P. Curtin. Teal is the right way to say it. I'll call it whatever we decide to call it, but in my heart, it's teal.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, it's what my number one looks like if I've had too many Red Bulls, but we're not gonna call it that. It looks like we can probably obviously, but okay, chat's just having a trial now. So in this matchup, do you know what? I've seen this matchup plenty of times, but it's I don't really know how it plays out. I'll be honest. This is one of the matchups I couldn't really tell. I think I've seen it played so differently. I've seen Howden Ashoni kind of do semi-FF. I've seen him do naked FF. I've seen him kind of rush. So I really don't. I'm not sure what the meta from Howden Ashoni's perspective is, but I think Brits will just kind of play. Julian will play his Brits. He'll adapt on the whim. I think we'll see in-base kind of barracks from him, or if he suspects something kind of like an FF from Frontline, he'll probably be a bit more aggressive. But yeah, so I'm honestly not overly sure. This is really not sure how this is going to play out. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just want to see a classic Age 2 rush from Haudenosaunee. I want to see Tomahawks. I want to see Kenya Horsemen. I want to see Hyenas. And I just want to see a big old Haudenosaunee unit ball barreling for the British base.
That does it for you, does it? Is that H2 big rushes just does it for you? Yeah.
Dude, H2 is being so overlooked. Everybody's so turned on by the Age 3 boom. That's
true.
H2 rushes, they're not being seen, and they're still so fun to watch. So I want to see it, and I think Frontline's going to do it for me.
It is almost like a forgotten art is the H2, because there are. Yes, the meta is very much like XP shipments, getting all of those juicy shipments in H3, maybe even going to industrial, maybe revolting a little bit. But H2 is a lost art because, when you look at, like, for example, Aztec H2, double Janissary rush, these type of civilizations have a really, really good H2, which technically kind of counters the naked FF for a lot of scenarios. So yeah, it's H2, like you said, it definitely is somewhat of a forgotten art, and it might not be the meta, but they are still very, very strong. So yeah, so I totally agree with you on that. It looks like we see Frontline going for the map control here. Probably you're going to get that wish. So, start the creaming now, Mr. V, because I think we're going to see an early H2. And this could not be sweeter as well, because look at the state of those two treasure. Wow, look at the XP treasure. I think one's one's 210. How much is the other one? It's 360, is it?
Jeez.
Holy cow, that's over
530 XP.
And when you take into consideration the killing the treasure guardians there on top of that, that is like, we're talking like 600 XP here, if not more than that, which is absolutely insane. Can we just quickly click on the shipment thing for Howden Ashoni? How much XP is it for his next shipment? So 410. So from these two treasures, he's going to be getting about a shipment and a half, which is absolutely insane. So really nice start here. Really nice kind of treasure spawn for the map for him as well. And he's adapting to the situation. So really nice start here by Frontline.
Which I think that brings up a good point. Let's look at the decks here. Frontlines is looking pretty interesting. He's got quite a few upgrades in Age 2. he doesn't have a ton of unit shipments. He's just got the 4 Kanya and the 7 Aena and the 6 Tomahawks. Quite a few resource shipments. Looks like he has already sent 5 Vil, sent 4 Kanya Horsemen, and is now following it up with the 600 Wood. So maybe not as much of an aggressive push as we thought, but definitely going to try to get at least a couple of Vil kills here. But the Pikemen and the Longbow coming out for Julian, along with the Outpost and the TC Fire, should be able to hold this just fine.
Yeah, so taking down that manor house as well, and that was almost fully built. So that's going to be about 100. If he takes that down, that's going to be about 100 wood, which is taken down. He decides to back up, which I don't disagree with because the longbows are out, but yeah, I mean, taking down that manor house would have been really nice because essentially by taking down that manor house, you're denying the Vil and about 100 wood. So I feel like Frontline could have stuck around there. He would have lost a few more units, but I feel like that would have been a worthwhile trade for him. Going for, like you said, yeah, shipping a couple of eco cards. Doesn't want to go for the Hail Mary. Wants to definitely get some, kind of set up his eco a little bit before he starts going Hail Mary. And yeah, so really good start from Frontline here. He's got some XP. He's done some early aggression. He's forced Julian into a very kind of turtle play style here. So, that's not what Brits are fine to do that, but Brits are going to want to push out. So Frontline knows what's going to happen here, okay? So Frontline knows that Julian, he's going to want to push out around the 9-10 minute mark. If we look in his base, he does have about 2 herds, if not 3 herds there, actually. So absolutely fantastic herding there from, he is the GOAT, right? He is basically #1 in the game right now. So you would expect that level of herding from him. But again, he can't stay there forever. He does have 2 really good mines as well. He has a few trees, but like I said, he can't stay here forever. So it's going to be about how Frontline is, how well he's going to contain him here.
Oh, look at this line. We're going for the second XP treasure. It is 320 XP coming in for Frontline, which I think that might be just what he needs to get another shipment. Might not quite get him there. It gets him really close. So he's sending the 7 Aena now and might be able to send another unit shipment, maybe even 6 Tomahawks right on top of that. Or maybe he'll follow it up with 600 coin and go for some sort of different tech switch here. He also has some upgrades. I don't see any of those coming in right away, but yeah, really nice treasure pickup there from Frontline. He's got so many Aena out. And look at the Kanya Horsemen. He's got 2 batches of Kanya, ton of Aena, some Tomahawks. This is a scary looking army coming to the British base.
It is, and you've used the word coming and coming in far too many times in front of me, Mr. V, okay? The level of restraint to not make a joke there, please, I beg you.
Well, it looks like an attack is coming in from Frontline, so we'll see what comes.
I love the way he's using his Aena as well. He's trying to find a really good micro position here. You can see that really tight space. And in fact, Julian is using the mine, the barracks, and he's using the herds. The herd there, the bison, is making it really frustrating for Frontline's cab there to get in. So Julian, and that's being done deliberately. Now the pikeman coming in as well. Just absolutely beautiful play here by Julian. He's positioned his army absolutely perfectly. And, this is why he's the GOAT. And already, because of that fight, making this look GG already.
Yeah, he's at 90 manor pop already. He's got what looks to be 37 Vils versus just the 30 from Frontline. And he really hasn't had to worry about, his villagers getting disturbed too much besides that one fight. But I think it was definitely worthwhile. He killed most, if not all, of the Haudenosaunee cavalry, and he killed quite a few Aena as well. But I don't really know what Frontline follows this up with. Maybe he just continues spamming these 3 units. But Julian now getting more longbows out, more pikemen coming out now, and I think the British economy is finally set in place. And we might even see Julian push out and try to be aggressive on his own.
Yeah, this is always a risky business, though, for what he's about to do there. He's obviously going to feel quite confident because he took an insane fight there. It was just an absolute masterclass in defensive play. And he's just kind of got the skill and the know-how and the knowledge, like how to take a good fight. And he was just absolutely perfect. Like I said, look, though, he's come out of his base. And this is where the risk is. And now Frontline has met him on the battlefield. And it's all going to come down to micro. Even a bit of a villager pull here by Julian. Again, that really good defensive play. But he's outside the range of his outpost and TC, so this could be a big risk for Julian. He could lose this fight here.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job shifting his pikes around, and more pikemen on the way, but a lot of villagers going down there. It is now 33 for Frontline and just 38 for Julian, and he is dealing with the cavalry fairly well. I think he might be able to hold this. The pikemen continuing to be in cover mode and continuing to trace those cavalry so that they can't get in on the longbows, and we know that longbows actually focusing on the cav rather than the Aena, and no, I'm wrong. I think Frontline may have come out better there.
And Frontline is doing really well here, and this is insane micro between the two because it's literally a game of chicken and who's gonna bluff first. So we've got the cavalry. The cavalry are soaking so much damage from the longbow because the longbows are basically clicking attack move, and cavalry have that range resist, so they are soaking so much damage. At the same time, Julian was trying to replicate that with his pikemen by putting them on the guard mode, which they also soak more damage. And then it was just a game of them both basically having a dance, the cav and the pike shimmying to see who would bluff first and who would go first. It was absolute godlike micro from both of them, honestly, from both of them. But Frontline particularly, because he had the cavalry that have that range resist, they already have that range resist, he had the advantage there, because Skirm Cav beat Skirm Pike. But again, that was just absolute. I was grinning over that. Was just absolute phenomenal micro by both of them. And maybe that's given Frontline, an opportunity after taking that bad first fight. Maybe that's given an opportunity to get back into this game. But my God, that needs to be like a YouTube short. Honestly, ESOC needs to make that YouTube short. That was just phenomenal micro. It really was.
Yeah, that was really good, but at the same time, Julian is now making the switch into cav. He sent 700 coin, which looks like he's going to use to just get a ton of Hussar out now, sending 6 Musks as well. So we're going to see a lot more British units come in and a lot more diversity in his composition. He still has a handful of pikes and more longbows coming out at the same time. But the Kanya numbers have been restored by Frontline. Looks like he's going around the north of the base, trying to find some cheeky bills, see if he can pick any off. And this is about the time that Britain starts going out for those outlying hunts. They start running out of the initial food in their base. So I like this play by Frontline, kind of flanking around and seeing if he can do some damage on the economy here. But I don't know. We might be seeing a little bit of a trade. Is Julian going to go back to protect his base? It looks like it.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a better trade for Julian here. I mean, yes, villagers are going inside the TC. Yes, he might be able to kill a couple of villagers. I mean, he might be able to kill a couple of villagers there, but once he doesn't have any anti-cav here, and now the Hussars are out, this is starting to look really, really scary for Frontline, and losing that barracks, he's completely lost the map control now, and he's lost his ability for a good 30-40 seconds to be able to get any sort of anti-cav out onto the field here, and he's kind of disjointed himself, and I think he's put himself in a really bad position, and it just wasn't worth it. He needed to back up, get back to his base and remass, and right now, once the pipe connect, it's going to be really scary. I think the Kanya are going to go down. This is going to be an
ugly engagement. No,
and once those Kanya go down, yeah, this is going to be bad. Really, really bad for Frontline.
Dead. And there's no reinforcements. There's just a few tomahawks on the way, and this war hut is going to go down. It is being repaired currently, but with this many pikes and this many Hussar in the mix, along with the musketeers, it's not going to last very long. And a few AN is able to get away, but now the momentum has certainly shifted, which I think is exactly what Julian needed, right? He needed to take map control before he ran out of hunt in his base, and he is down to his last few bison, but now that he's won this fight, he can safely bring villagers to the north and continue gathering food, which means he can continue producing this really strong 3-unit composition.
Yeah, I mean, he's keeping those AN alive, and he's just banking on the fact that his tomahawks can kind of protect himself, which he's done a good job of. So running them away, he's got some tomahawks, and he did a really good job there to keep those AN alive. But I don't know if the damage has already been done. There's just the scores just pulling further and further away as well, and that massive longbows just feels impenetrable right now.
Yeah, certainly. And it looks like that's going to be the game. Yeah, Frontline calling it. And I think that was a smart GG by him. I mean, realistically, there's nothing he's going to do. He's going to lose this war hut. He's going to lose the rest of this army. And he's got a lot of exposed villagers that are going to start to get picked off one by one in the south of the map. So good play by Brit and a really good hold by Julian there. But that micro, that one small fight, that was definitely the highlight of the game. That was insane.
Oh, 100%. And the fight that Julian took and the way he positioned his units in that first big fight with the longbows, even utilizing the bison, as a kind of a shield and a choke point for the cavalry from Frontline. It was just so beautiful. I'm so glad that I play at this kind of high elo level, because I can see things like that, and I can just see how those sort of players do these things deliberately, and just like the way these really top players kind of use the map and absolutely everything to their advantage. Because don't forget, bison are quite big, right? They've got big hitboxes, and your units don't go through them like transparently. They have to run around them, and so just adding hitboxes in the way, it was essentially putting up a wall against those cavalry to protect his longbow. It was just absolute masterclass by Julian there throughout the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he played Brit exactly the way it needs to be played, which is, hold in your base, get as many hunts up to your town center as possible, take on the initial pressure, and then just push out with your really, really strong economy. And that's exactly what he did. And, I think that's a hard matchup for Haudenosaunee if you don't go for just an immediate rush. And if you don't topple Brits right away within, like, the first 7-8 minutes of the game, you're in for a really, really hard fight, because you're just going to get outscaled by Brits so hard in the mid game. But still, good push by Frontline. I thought he had a couple of good engagements there. Just that final push into the British base seemed a little bit too eager and got a lot of his army killed.
Yeah, I think he needed to try and take a good fight at his base, he tried to go for the counter punish, but it just didn't work out for him, and Julian punished perfectly.
I think we're ready for game 2.
Looks that way. Lakota versus Mexico. Ooh, interesting. So Julian going to be queuing up as Lakota, and Frontline going to be going as Mexico. Interesting. This could be a fun one. What map are we on? We are on Ivory Coast. Interesting. Cool. So Ivory Coast, here we go. We saw this map earlier. Like I said, it's a really cool map. I hope we get to see this on the ranked ladder again sometime soon. And I mean, Julian's picked again. Didn't we see the Lakota mirror was on this map last time? So both of the people we saw, GuiliuG and Dennis, thinking that this is a good Lakota map. Julian's obviously had that same thought process, and it's got to be because of that TP line. It's just too juicy. It's too the temptation is just too high with Lakota, because the TP kind of stagecoach early aggression with Lakota is very much the meta with most Lakota players right now. Frontline going as Mexico. That's interesting, because Mexico have also got a really hard early age 2 aggression, so they can definitely put up a really good fight in age 2 as well. But I'm not sure. I think against Lakota, I think Mexico will be forced to play defensive here. But let's see what Frontline's going to do. If we just have a quick look at Frontline's base, I think I do see so he hasn't gone for the TP start, so he's gone for the hunting dog start. So what that essentially means is, if you see the TP start, generally you're not going to see a rush. If you see the hunting dog start, it means that your opponent will potentially put a forward hacienda down and do some rushing. And that generally also means we won't see an early revolt from Frontline.
Yeah, both players mirrored each other's builds almost exactly. Both of them going for a really, really early market, slamming it down almost immediately, and neither player going for the early trading post as well. But when you look at Frontline's deck, he's actually got a lot of age 2 cards. And then if you take a look at Julian's, I'm not sure what he has. He's got a lot of age 2 cards as well. A lot of unit cards, some upgrades. He's got the Takala soldiers. We could see a big fight in age 2. But you said Mexico is probably going to be on the defensive here. What is the unit that Mexico makes right away to deal with either the infantry push or the cavalry raids from Lakota?
Yeah, well, we're going to see that age 2 slobber knocker. So, I know how excited you get with the age 2 plays. So that's going to be good. What do Mexico? I think, Frontline's going to expect Club Warriors. He has to kind of make. He has to make he's going to have to make skirm pike, so insurgent and skirms. So that's going to be what he wants to make. So he might open up with insurgents and then maybe either ship some skirms or kind of open up insurgent or open up skirms and maybe ship insurgents. I'm not really sure, but he's definitely going to have to get a kind of a comfortable mass of skirms and insurgents. So I think that's what he's going to play as. He does have the option of going for the free cavalry. He's got all of those shipments in H2. I don't think we'll see soldados, soldaddies as I call them. I think we're just going to see good old-fashioned insurgent skirm, and then he's going to add cavalry.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. I mean, insurgents are just such a cost-effective unit at the end of the day. And what is Lakota picking up here on the far side of the map? Gonna get 80 coin. Love that for Frontline. And look at this. Julian putting up what looks to be a native trading post. And
what native is that? Is that the
Akans?
Yoruba? Oh, it's Akans. Interesting. What on earth is he getting that for? Oh my goodness me, I'm so confused.
I mean, it does produce pretty powerful anti-cav in the Ancobia. I mean, 75.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the Akans. Yeah, I mean, they're Akans are good in mass, but they're not a good musketeer when you've only got like 1 or 2 batches of them. I mean, they're okay, but only in their range. I mean, it's got to be a tech. It has to be one of the techs that he's getting from Akan. There's no way I can see him actually making the Akan musketeers. So I presume it's going to be one of the techs from there. And Akan's doesn't beat what Lakota's about to send. So Akan's loses obviously to the Seaton bow. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what Frontline's going to be getting there.
I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the upgrades right now. There's a coin upgrade, but it's very expensive. There's gather work rates. I mean, there's no huge upgrade in here that looks just absolutely insane.
Oh, he was getting an upgrade, wasn't he? Frontline, he just got an upgrade.
Oh, he got palm oil.
Oh, what? So he just got palm oil, and thank you, Joshua, for whispering sweet nothings in our ears. He just told us that all of his food gets converted into wood and gold. So no idea why. Absolutely no idea why that is the case. So we'll have to wait and see what he's going to have up his sleeve there. Maybe it's something to do with revolt. It may be something to do with revolt. That's all I can imagine. But
he is...
no, the screen is backed, and he's going for skirm. So he's going for skirm Akan, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know you talked about them maybe not being made after all, but he is starting to produce Akans, and along with the skirmishers, I don't know if this is exactly what you need to do to counter Seaton bow, but Seaton bow are a pretty lackluster unit. They're not that good, and maybe if he gets out enough skirmishers, he might be able to hold this pressure here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Frontline's build here, but it's just not quick enough against Lakota. Like, look at the time. Look at the time. He has units invading his base at 5 minutes. You know, this whole kind of native tech and getting stuff down, it's just not quick enough here. And I like the idea from Frontline. I just don't think it's going to pay off. And if he was going to be doing something like this, why he's doing a forward hacienda feels like a huge mistake.
Yeah, and the fact that Julian has the villager lead on top of that, and he's following it up with 4 axe riders, and there's just not enough Akans to hold off 4 axe riders and protect these skirmishers. And I don't know. Is this just Frontline trying out something new? Is this a troll build? Is that what we're seeing here?
I definitely don't think it's a troll build. I just think he doesn't expect how quickly this Lakota rush is hitting him, and maybe expected because Julian tends to be more of a greedy player, but he can do everything, and I think Frontline just hasn't expected the as early of aggression as Julian is showcasing right now. I think it's just caught him off guard.
Yeah. And Julian now certainly has map control. He's been able to take out that forward barracks, has not taken out the hacienda yet, but he also destroyed the native post, so no more Akans coming out from Frontline. And what is Frontline making at the moment? He's not producing anything. He has no military infrastructure. Just now, looks like he might be getting a barracks in the back of his base, but it's not looking great for Frontline.
No, it's not. And I mean, he's down in score as well. Oh, wait, no. I don't know if I can see the scores right. No, he's actually up in score. I tell a lie, he's up in score. But I think a lot of that's still inflated because of the Hacienda and whatnot. He has shipped 5 villagers. He's on 24 vils. There's no TPs yet from Lakota. He's on 22 vils. So, you know, he has gone for that kind of, not all in, but he's gone for a very aggressive age 2, and he sacrificed a lot of eco cards for military unit shipments. So, you know, this game definitely isn't over yet. This will pay off for Julian if he wins the game soon. But if Frontline can kind of clean up here and take a really good fight, Julian's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, no, you make a good point there. I mean, he sent 7 C10 bow, he sent 4 axe rider, and 700 woods. So he definitely is falling behind in economy as to where he would usually be. But he's still at 23 vils versus 26 of Frontline. So he's not that far behind. And if he continues to pressure Mexico and take out this infrastructure, could leave him in a good spot. But now that there's a good amount of skirmishers on the map, these C10 bows are going to get outmatched quite hard.
Yeah, and I mean, Setons, they're not. I mean, like I said, you know, they're not a particularly good unit, but when they can just stand there and fire, that is when they shine, because they do have a high damage output because they have that 1.5 fire rate. So if they're allowed to just stand there and fight, then, you know, they are pretty good. We see Julian now starting to put the eco down. He has taken that Hacienda down, which is really nice. But Frontline starting to get a bit more confident in his in the amount of units he's got here, but again, it's so risky. He's just got so little anti-cav, and I think Julian recognizes that because he's shipping the Takola soldiers, and we might see. And if Frontline pushes a bit too far forward here, this is so risky for him. He's got such little anti-cav, and he's pushing. It's
and
so
look at that.
risky.
Julian's
and I think
trying to keep him engaged. Julian wants him to stay there. He's trying to pull Frontline back in, and it might just work. Here come the cavalry, and let's see if he can get an engagement. Nope, I don't think he's going to be able to. I think Frontline might be a little bit worried about what's coming, and he might try to get out of there. Oh,
yeah, I mean,
no,
he's
I'm wrong.
Baiting Frontline in, sort of baiting him in, but he's got no siege, though, as well, so... Like, I don't understand what he gets by pushing here. I mean, he might be able to snipe 1 or 2. He's just put himself in such a high-risk situation here. And now look at it, the cavalry quite literally coming in now. In come the cavalry, charging in there. They're kind of getting caught, though, but he does have the Lakota hero, and that's going to buff the speed of all his units. 3 Chinicos coming in, and he's probably going to rely on that to do a lot of his anti-cav. We do see some Soul Daddies now. I said we wouldn't see them, but we are seeing a few of them now. So maybe, just maybe, Frontline can hold this.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, the C10 bows are now finally able to do what they are meant to do, which is just sit in the back and fire using that quick firing rate. And now he's taking out the Soldados relatively quickly. And those Soldados, they are expensive units. And there are still some cavalry to try to get on the Salteadors. But no, I think Frontline's going to hold it after all.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden there was Minutemen, 5 Soldadis, and then the 3 Chinicos as well. So, you know, all of a sudden, he had enough mass there to deter JulianK. And now that 2 Takola kind of push there, probably going to be paying for that now because he didn't really achieve a lot with it. So probably kind of probably took a bit of a bad fight there. But I don't know. He's still got plenty of Seton bows. So, yeah, I don't know. This is still a really, really close game.
Ooh, look what's coming out for Frontline now. The 10 Navajo riflemen on the way.
Oh, wow. Wow. Did not expect that.
Boy. And if he wasn't winning the skirmish game before, now he's going to have a distinct advantage. And no matter how many C10 bows, you know, Julian's able to get out, if he's not able to rebuild those cavalry numbers, even getting out bow riders now, which are going to fall so quickly to those Navajo riflemen. If I were Frontline, this might be the time that I want to push and actually start to retake some of the map control here.
He'll essentially, what I think he's going to do with his Navajo is, obviously they're generally, the gimmick with them is that they kill villagers very quickly, right? Because they have that positive multi versus villagers. But essentially, it looks like what he'll do with them here is he'll kind of just put them as part of his skirmisher mass and just kind of make them expensive, nice expensive skirmishers, and just kind of add them into the mass so we can contest against these seasoned bowmen. They're very fast as well, and they've got decent range. So yeah, so they're a really good kiting, a very, very effective kiting unit. Yeah, look, even being able to push against the War Hut now here as well. And now this time he does have the siege. Because if there's one thing Soul Daddies have, they have those grenades. And look at them toss them grenades. And yeah, so now he does have a scary siege mass. And Julian knows that, and he's going to want to go straight away into protecting that War Hut. Because that War Hut is really essential to keeping that map control. He only has 1 TP. I did see the Foundation earlier for the second TP, but he hasn't gone for it. And now the seasoned bows not looking anywhere near as intimidating as they were before. Don't forget, if Soul Daddies, if they hit like trucks as well. Yes, they get melted by Setons, but if they have insane attack, melee, and range. And if they're allowed to get some hits off, they are really, really scary. So yeah, it's starting to look good for Frontline, actually.
And the bow riders just proving to be fairly ineffective. I'm not sure why Julian decided to make bow riders. Maybe he thought more Chinacos were going to come out from Frontline. I mean, Frontline is now putting down a stable, so maybe they'll be useful, but sending 700 coin as well. And if Frontline's able to take out this War Hut along with this trading post, he could be left in the dominant position as we kind of enter the mid game here.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the scores, Frontline's, he is in the lead, but, Lakota are known to kind of underscore, so don't, take the score with a pinch of salt. But yeah, it was looking really bad for Frontline at the beginning of this game, and, Julian just, I don't know, like we said, he didn't go for those early eco options. And like I said, if he doesn't get much out of the initial pushes, then he's definitely going to be suffering the later game, because Frontline was going for those eco options. And now look, just being able to kite like this, it shows you how bad these seasoned bowmen really are. If they're able to get out kited here, he's going to rely on the axe riders getting stuck in there, trying to snare everything. But these Soul Daddies are easily going to be able to hold those heavy cav off. And now we're just going to have a skirm off right now.
Yeah, and in terms of the skirm wars, it's definitely going to be in favor of Frontline. He's starting to kill some of the Navajo riflemen, which is good for Julian, but again, these bow riders in the back, there's just really nothing that they can target that's of super good value. He is pushing off some of the villagers from the hunts, but there's still plenty of skirmishers left for Mexico. And once again, Julian's going to have to kind of retreat without getting much done and losing a lot of the expensive cavalry at the same time. Oh, the Chinacos coming out. What a catch by Frontline.
Beautiful pop. Absolutely beautiful pop. He couldn't have asked for anything sweeter. There is only a few bow riders now, and that is gonna be a cleanup from Frontline. JulianK overstaying his welcome, and that's what you get for it. And as a result, Frontline takes a game. Let's go, baby. We just got ourselves a real series.
1-1.
Hot damn.
That was good.
What a turnaround from Frontline there. What a turnaround from Frontline. After doing that utter nonsense build with the Akans, he turns the game around. What an absolute boss.
Yeah, and that was such a good pop, right? It looked like the fight was pretty even. It looked like Julian was going to get away with a good portion of his army, and then the 5 Chinacos came out and just wrecked his day. And yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better timing than that. Now, whether it was planned or whether it was just a coincidence, it was one of those, instances of luck in this game. It worked out really well for Frontline.
Beautiful play, beautiful play. And yeah, there we go. I mean, that was a high octane game, and that's what you expect from Lakota versus Mexico. Both very, very good, sort of, A+ into the kind of S- type tier civilization. So both of these civs, regarded as very, very good civilizations. So yeah, that was a fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic game.
Yeah, Soul Daddy's MVP though. I mean, the way they took out those axe riders was just ridiculous.
Soul Daddies. That's why they're my Soul Daddies, because they are just the ads. They do, I think in H2, they do, in melee, they do 75 damage to cavalry. And you saw the melee there really getting so much damage from that cavalry. And even in range, they were melting axe riders. And it was just, so yeah, Soul Daddies, like you said, an expensive unit. Almost as expensive as cavalry. That's how they are 2 pop as well. But my God, are they worth it.
Oh,
Game number 3. Let's go.
Lion, look at this matchup. It is Russia versus Japan.
All the
fantastic.
all the legacy guys now absolutely creaming in the chat. So all of you kind of EP, RE, you know, the Asian dynasties, even vanilla players, you know, I hope you're going to enjoy this one because this is a dream come true for you guys. I'm pretty sure ESOC just put this map in here just to keep those absolute RE Tad noobs happy.
RE
right,
Tad noobs? Oh, man. Are you trying to get canceled?
Oh, they try and cat that. I get called a DE noob, so you know, it's all good.
That's fair. But you know, this used to be, speaking of RE Tad days, this used to be such an open and shut matchup in terms of who would win, because it used to be Japan just sucked at early pressure. Like they couldn't hold it. And, you know, they still kind of have that same problem. So Russia would just come in with 5 Cossacks. They would siege the shrines with some Ruskets, and it would just be game over, and Japan would just wither and die. But nowadays, you know, Japan, I think it's one of those sleeper civs that people think of as just okay. But if you allow Japan to sit back and really let that economy get rolling, they can become a terrifying civ. You know, that Ashi-Yumi combo can just become unkillable if they're able to get into H3 and get some upgrades on them. So don't sleep on Frontline here. We could see something really, really good from him. Getting out shrines on the map right away. He is in the north of the map playing in the color blue as Japan. Market coming down immediately. And in the south of the map playing in the color cyan or light blue or teal, whatever you want to call it. It is Julian playing as Russia, getting down the house immediately, and just the one house coming out from Julian right away. No fancy tricks, nothing unstandard or out of the ordinary right away. Lion, are we going to see a really aggressive H2 from Julian, or are we going to see something a little bit more greedy here?
For starters, I'm going to settle and just call it aquamarine. That's the color I'm going to call it. Aquamarine. That's what I'm going to say. Yes, I think we're definitely going to see some the early H2 pressure. This is how Russia have to play this matchup. They have to play early H2. Like you said, you don't want Japan to scale. Japan can always outscale almost any civilization out there. You don't want them to get to the late game. They got really strong units. They have a really strong eco. The matchup is interesting, though, because can we take a look at Frontline deck? We see him shipping 2 villagers there. No like Heavenly Kami stuff. He's packed out in H2. The thing with Japan these days is Japan used to historically, like, you know, they had that kind of Heavenly Kami build, 2 villager build, 3 boats, whatever you want to do. But they were always very kind of eco heavy, and these days Japan have a lot of good options with the introduction of the 5 shrine card, which he does have in his deck. That can be shipped twice as well, and with the Torii gates opening as well, they can hold their own in H2 now. Like, they can age up early, they can get Torii gates, lots of XP. Obviously it's a non-TP map, so maybe we will see Torii gates, and they can really, you know, mass a lot of decent units in H2 thanks to that 5 shrine card, because essentially that pays for all of their population, right, and a little bit of trickle of eco on top of that. However, knowing Frontline, I don't know if we're going to see that. With Frontline, we might see kind of a more of an age gone by type build from him, and it might be a bit more of a kind of a greedy build, but we'll have to see what the age up is. That's going to be super important that we see what the age up wonder is going to be, and we are going to see Torii gates. So there we go. We're going to see probably going to see a little bit of magic from Frontline here, but Julian is a phenomenal Russia player. He knows how to play this matchup, and I think he's going to punish Frontline really well there. But so this is all going to be about how Frontline deals with this pressure early on.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say for Frontline is he is going to spot that blockhouse immediately. And along with Japan being a lot better in the early game, we also have to consider the nerfs that have been put on Russia since the old, you know, RE days. Being the main thing is Boyars, right? They don't have that insane Boyars upgrade anymore that upgrades your Strelets, upgrades your Cossacks, and now those have been split into 2 cards. So the H2 composition for Russia is not going to have that immediate spike that they used to have. And that's just another thing in Japan's favor. But like you said, Julian, a great Russia player. He put his blockhouse in a really nice position. Going to be able to pressure Frontline right away. And we'll see what comes out first, whether he decides to go with the 5 Cossack or the 13 Strelets. But either way, you know, one thing that I'm a little bit worried about Lion is Japan is a tough civ to raid in general, simply because all of their villagers are going to be so close to their town center, and they're just not going to be very exposed as compared to like British villagers or Portuguese or, you know, any other European civ. So if you're Russia, you can't just go in and try to find the hunts. How do you pressure Japan without just losing a ton of your units?
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to make it as cost-effective for you as possible. And you can see here, rather than going for the cavalry, he's just going straight into the 13 Strelets. So essentially what he wants to do, you're right. So the way he punishes here is he tries to deal with the shrines as best as he can, but he keeps the villagers inside the TC, so he just physically stops him from gathering. So yes, he's going to lose units for that. And what's the most cost-effective way of losing units whilst simultaneously keeping the villagers from Frontline inside his TC? It's by making Strelets, because they're extremely cheap unit. So that's what he's going to want to do. He's going to want to just try and flood the base of Frontline, take a villager or two if he can, but if not, he's just going to keep them inside his TC, physically stop him from gathering until Russia just gets build up such a snowball or such an economic lead that he'll just snowball and win the game from there. But like I said, Japan have options. That 5 shrine card was shipped from Frontline. That's going to give him population, a little bit of a nice little eco trickle. He's making, unfortunately, he's gone for barracks and he's made Ashigaru, which is going to get countered. But we're going to see a Yumi with a Minutemen. Nice kind of shift here. So maybe this is going to be enough.
I think that might have been a bit of an overreaction on Julian's part, calling out the Minutemen, and he did lose one of his explorers as well, which is going to slow down the shrine the production of shrines. But the Minutemen getting on the Strele, I think what you said is so true though, right? The Strele, even though they're dying, even though they're falling, they're doing exactly what they need to do, which is keep those vills belled up and keep the Japanese army on the move and, you know, get a couple kills here and there. Really well played by Julian so far, and he's containing Frontline's economy very, very well, even though he's losing quite a few units in the process.
And look at this, you know, another military shipment coming in. He's sending more Strelets, and this game's sort of already looking over, even though the scores suggest otherwise. And yeah, he's just flooded the base with Strelets. He's now killing explorers, which just is adding his injury to insult at this stage, and Frontline's really struggling. Another thing to mention as well, he's already used his sentries. So his anti-cav, his best kind of open source of anti-cav, like a big kind of push, has now been, he relied on the anti-cav to kind of act as like a snaring ability to allow his other units to kind of kill. But now he's lost the ability to beat cavalry outside of Ashigarus, and the Strelets are going to melt those Ashigarus like nothing. So he's really shot himself in the foot there with that early sentry call.
Interesting choice to send Daimyo Moto Tada. It's going to buff his units, but he doesn't really have that many units to buff. And now the Cossacks are beelining for that Daimyo. They know that if they can kill him, that is going to be such a good trade for Julian. And they're just chasing him around the base. Meanwhile, the Streli are killing off the last of the Ashigarus. And I don't know, is the Daimyo shipment a good option there? Or was that maybe a little bit too greedy by Julian to send that unit?
If Julian didn't send the 5 Cossacks, that shipment could have been GG right there for Japan. Like, that would have cleaned up the Strelets, or it would have at least pushed the Strelets all about, and he would have done a lot of damage to the Strelets. But because the Cossacks were there, he had a way of dealing with that Daimyo really effectively. So it was a really good, it was a nice call from Frontline. Unfortunately, he took a gamble, and the gamble didn't pay off because Julian shipped those Cossacks. So again, it's just Julian understanding that that is a possibility, and therefore shipping Cossacks to deny kind of any recourse from Frontline. And it was, like I said, it was a good try from Frontline. It would have worked if it just wasn't for those Cossacks.
Yeah, and the villagers for Frontline, they've been built up in the TC now for like the past 2 or 3 minutes, and there have just been no resources coming in besides the shrine he has. Now, he is at about 90 shrine pop, which is decent for the 8-minute mark. Certainly not where he probably wants to be, but continuing to make Ashigaros send 5 as well. And that's just not the unit you need against the 5 Strelae. And if the 5 Strelae are able to kill all of these Ashigaros, that's going to be such a nice trade for Julian. And Julian just not pulling off the pressure one bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what he does. Like, it just looks really, really over. I mean, he's got the Ashigarus. I don't know why the Ashigarus are getting... They're faster than Strelets. They should not be getting killed there. That is really big, unfortunate trade there by Frontline. Frontline just needs to take those Ashigarus, run towards his opponent's base, try and keep his villagers inside his TC, and just kind of maybe try and do some, you know, some villager killing with those, because there's nothing else that he can do right now. So at best, he needs to use his resources to try and keep his opponent's villagers inside his TC. But it's just looking over. Like I said, just flood the base with Strelets. There you go. There you have it already. I feel like in the current meta, Japan do have options outside of their kind of that old school build that they used to have. And I just don't think Frontline, you know, he has that kind of that type of play, you know, to kind of to beat Russia in this matchup. Julian knows exactly how this matchup goes. You know, anyone that's read his guide, his strategy guide, knows exactly how this goes, and he played that flawlessly, and Frontline just didn't have an answer to it.
Yeah, and I thought he made a really excellent choice there, going for almost pure Strelet at the beginning of the game. And, you know, with Frontline going for Ashigaru, I think that was just a really good take. He was able to get so much value, and he was able to keep the Japanese vills belled up for such a long time. And it just meant that the Japanese economy was not able to get off the ground. And, you know, he wasn't able to continue to build shrines because his explorers got killed. Then he lost his daimyo without getting much value out of it. And it was just continuous, you know, good trades for Russia. And that all piled up to Japan just not being able to continue the fight.
Yeah, I'm just realizing, do Strats have 4.5 speed?
Oh,
they do. Okay, apparently Strats have the same speed as Ashigarus, which I did not know.
I think that's their advantage to not having as much range as your typical skirmisher. So they don't have as much range, but they have more speed.
I thought they had 4.25 speed. Anywho, there you go. I'm supposed to be a big-time caster. I can't even tell you how much speed Strelets have. It's not very good.
This is the one time where my game knowledge trumps yours. The one time in the entire 2 hours of casting that we've been doing that I was able to know something you didn't know.
Well, I'll leave you to do the introductions to this. I'm going to go grab a drink of water, and I'll let you entertain the chat.
Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Game 4. The match is currently 2-1 in favor of Julian. This is Game 4. And on this map, we have, on the right side, in the color blue, playing as the Lakota Frontline. And on the left side of the map, playing in the controversial color. We haven't decided on it yet. I don't know. So I'm gonna go with teal. You know what? Screw you guys. I'm gonna say teal. We have JulianK playing as Germany, getting down his market immediately, not going for a trading post, and going to be grabbing what looks to be a 45 wood treasure on the top side of the map. Interesting matchup here. We have one Civ that really loves fortress play. And we have another Civ that prefers probably, I would say, early Age 2 aggression. And Germany does not have a great Age 2 option, right? They have a really awkward composition of Uhlans, but they don't have musks, so they have to switch to pikes and crossbows and, you know, try to get out maybe some like really expensive Doppelsodners, and their Age 2 cards aren't the best. So if we see some infantry rush from a Frontline here, it could prove to be pretty effective against what Julian can get out. But of course, Julian, one of the best players, so he might just be able to blind FF before Frontline's able to get too much of a mass together for a decent timing. And it looks like another treasure pickup for Julian. The 70 food along with the 15 food and the 15 XP from killing the boar. Those are such good guardians because you're able to get rewarded just for killing the guardians on top of taking the treasure, sending 2 settler wagons. Meanwhile, Frontline sending 3 villagers. So both players playing it pretty standard, both going for the early market, both taking as many treasures as possible. I think once we get into Age 2 and we see what Frontline does, that'll be kind of the moment where we figure out where the game's going to go, because I think Julian's going to play very, very standard Germany. I don't, I don't expect anything super out of the gate. Looking at his deck, he's got a very, very standard German deck. He's got, your regular resource shipments. He's got your regular cards in the Third Age. He's got the Black Riders. He's got the Jaegers. So no crazy mercenary play here. Nothing that looks like any sort of FI play either. So standard Germany from the looks of it. And then compared to the deck of Frontline, very standard Lakota as well. He does have the 3 trading post Travois. So we'll see if Lakota tries to take some of the resources on this map with those trading posts. We do have 6 slots, so there are plenty of opportunities to seize some of those TPs early on in the game. Julian now going up to the Second Age, as is Frontline. And yeah, so that is what it is looking like in the early game. So far, very,
Definitely going to see that
normal
free
play.
TP card.
Yeah,
Definitely going to see that free TP card, I think, from Lakota. It's interesting, this game, how last game we saw civilizations that were picked very heavily for the map. We saw like the livestock civ. We saw Otto, which was the TP civ. And this game, we got a bit more standard. So we got Germany, which doesn't really benefit from, much on the map. They will have a nice safe TP, and they do get free Ulons, like I said last map that we saw in the last series. This kind of map is very long with that split down the middle, so having cavalry type units, any unit that's has a lot of speed, is going to be really, really effective on this map. So, but again, not the strongest kind of what's the civ tier list on this map, but I imagine Frontline has picked Lakota because this is an insane TP map. There's 6 TPs in total. Each side can get 5 TPs without getting that last one, which is always too close to the opponent's TP. So yeah, there's so much eco on the line in this map for civilizations that like going for the TP, and I just know, like, there's these type of players, they tend to be quite greedy. That's their kind of natural habitat, is to be quite greedy and to kind of greed out on the map. And so players like Frontline and Julian, they really want those TPs. They really want to benefit from the stagecoach boom. But Julian's going to know this, right? Julian's going to know this, and he's going to want to counter that TP boom, that potential TP boom. And like I said, First card is going to be free TPs. I knew it. I had that. My sixth sense was tingling. My spidey sense was tingling. And I just knew he was going to see that card.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Julian sending, again, very, very standard cards, sending the 3 settler wagons plus the 2 Ulans. Now, what I want to know is, are we going to see very, very heavy infantry rush from Frontline? Or is he going to satisfy himself with taking map control, taking TPs, and then trying to follow Julian up? I feel like an Age 2 rush at this kind of matchup is really risky, because if you don't do enough damage and Germany gets to Age 3, your C10 bows and your club warriors are going to look really foolish, and they're just going to get bowled over by the Ulan skirms and war wagons that are going to come out from Julian. So is it better to not rush and just try to outgreed Germany here? Or as Lakota, do you need to put on early aggression?
I think he'll want to put some initial early aggression, and that might be, although he did ship free TP, so I'm not really sure how much early aggression he can get. The aggression is going to come from defending the TPs, and is he going to get that TP down? He does get the TP down. The free 2 Ulons going straight towards the Lakota hero there, and is the Lakota hero going to be able to survive? It does have more speed, but it's getting snared, and I think it's going to die. And that's huge. That is a huge early benefit for JulianK there. He knows exactly how to play this as well. He's not going to be able to kill all of the TPs, but he's going to destroy the TPs that he can. So, yeah, I mean, the early aggression is actually going to come from Germany here. And I actually think that Germany will be the aggressor in this matchup here. Frontline's gone for that early TP boom, and Julian is not going to want to sit around, hang about, and, put his feet up. He's going to want to push the agenda, not deny as many of those TPs as he possibly can. One is already going to be going down, and he's going to want to take those others as well. But, we could see him relax a little bit. He might take that second TP for himself, and so he's going to benefit from a couple of the TPs from the stagecoach. But he will have a really good timing here. It's a lot of investment. There's a free TP card. It's 400 resources to upgrade the TP line. So maybe Germany, it feels like Julian's he's gonna have that moment. He's gonna have that timing where he can just kind of, be the aggressor and just take down all the forward infrastructure.
No, that's really well said. And Frontline following up by sending a lot of units to combat the pressure that's coming out from Julian. He sent the 7 C-10 bows, he sent 4 Axe Riders, he's making Club Warriors. So I think he is determined to defend this TP line. And I think, what is going to decide this game is who is going to come out better after all of these units have, kind of fought, and all of these H2 units have, done what they're supposed to do. And I think, if Julian's able to take out 1, maybe 2 more of these trading posts, he will have won this H2 battle. But if Frontline's able to defend the 4 remaining TPs that he has and continue to benefit off them, he has all 4 of them set to wood right now, then he's going to be in a really strong spot. Maybe even if they decide to transition into H3 as well. A lot of crossbows here from Julian, and a lot of C-10 bows from Frontline. So you have 2 bow units that are both seen as kind of not great, but in terms of C-10 bow versus crossbow, I still think crossbows take that, correct?
I mean, crossbows do with the right micro, but if Seaton Bowman, if it's just like a one-on-one, Seatons will win just because they have the faster fire rate. But generally, Expos will win because obviously they can kite. And yeah, I mean, this is we already seen it, but this is definitely going to be an H2 smackdown. And like I said, the timing that Julian wants here to push the agenda, he clearly feels like he's had that time. And if we can quickly have a look at Julian's deck, because no doubt he has definitely shipped the 8 bows with the Ulons, and this is the timing
look at the take by Frontline line. He's getting his Axe Riders right on the crossbows, and a lot of the pikemen now going down. This is a really good engagement by Frontline. It looked like Julian wasn't really paying attention there. Got a lot of his early Ulons killed, but now more pikes coming in to reinforce.
Really good micro by Frontline. His Cav is doing work there, and that's exactly what he needs. And the Seaton Bowman, again, we've seen this the micro from Frontline's cavalry in all of these games, particularly the first game and now this game, has been really phenomenal. He's really staying out of the pikeman's way and then running around the crossbows, doing some damage when he can, and tanking the ranged damage from the crossbows. I see 5 Ulons coming in now. Is that the 5 Ulon shipment? Or is that because he's built a stable? No, he's actually shipping in 5 Ulons now. I can't remember the last time I saw that shipment. Honestly, it's regarded as quite a bad shipment because it's essentially a free Ulon shipment because you get 2 Ulons anyway. So 3 plus 2 obviously is 5. So it's regarded as quite a bad shipment. But right now, Julian feels like it's necessary to send that because, like I said, he doesn't want the TP line for Frontline to hold the TP line. He wants to deny it. Therefore, he wants to win this H2 here so he can push out onto the map and deny. Look at the amount of Ulan. Look at all of this cap flooding in right now. I think this is going to be really difficult, but there's a lot of Club Warriors at the same time saying that. So we kind of got this Lancer Rodolero kind of push from Frontline here. I have no idea which way this is going to go. Holy cow.
Yeah, and the Ulons are very split, and the crossbows getting stuck in the middle here. C-10 bows allowed to sit in the back and do a lot of damage, but the Ulan do outnumber the Axe Riders, and now the Axe Riders starting to go down, and I don't know if there's enough Ulan here. I don't know if they have enough HP to do any lasting damage to the C-10 bows. Seems like a pretty even trade for both players.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very even trade, and the longer the game goes on, don't forget, the better it's going to be for Lakota, because Lakota have the 4 TPs compared to the Germany's 2 TPs. So the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Frontline. And yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a scary amount of Ulan, but Frontline out of nowhere, with all of those Club Warriors, he just managed to kind of get them stuck in there, and they were doing work, because don't forget, Ulans, they don't have a lot of HP, so they were getting absolutely melted. And I think Julian expected that to go better than it did. He's trying to chase the Seatons now and just gain every little advantage he possibly can, but Julian going to be forced to back up there. He doesn't want to run himself into a trap And holy, this is a game, man. This is a really good game right now.
He even sent 3 Dops Lion. So he's sending everything. He sent 8 crossbow, 5 Ulan, 3 Dops.
He needs to win this H2. He knows it. He needs every possible military resource to win this H2 engagement. Lakota have got to know this, and he's putting everything into building units as well. But every military shipment coming out for JulianK right now, 5 Ulans, 3 Dops. This is not something you see every day. And can Lakota hold on? Julian has just taken a huge measure here by shipping all of those infantry military units, and we'll have to wait and see if it's gonna pay off for him. But those Doppels, don't forget, you know, the main reason he's sending them is for the siege. They do a lot of siege damage, and that's exactly what he needs right now.
Yeah, and the military shipment, the economic units are so close. I mean, 28 Vils for Frontline, 27 Vils for Julian. So the TPs really are the one thing that is going to give either player an economic advantage here. And it just seems like all of these unit shipments might end up paying off for Julian. I'm actually surprised at the size of Frontline's army. It really hasn't grown very much in the past couple of minutes here. And that might be because he sent all of his military shipments right away, but we might be seeing the engagement. It's finally going to happen.
Yeah, he's got Takola soldiers coming in as well, and he really needs to wait for them. He wants to fight under the war hut just to get that extra bit trickle of damage in there. This choke point is horrendous. I'm not really sure who this benefits more from, really. But those Takola soldiers, they're almost here. In they come. Is this what he needs to... Oh, no, sorry, it's the Cheyenne Riders, not the Takolas. That's even better. So he's got that. I think that cost about 500 gold to send that shipment. The problem is Julian's done a fantastic job. We've taken down 2 TPs here. Now it's 2 TPs apiece. I don't know how many times I need to say the P word there, but my goodness me, the Cheyenne allies, don't forget, they're soft anti-cav as well, because they have bonuses versus cavalry, I believe. So they got that extra multi versus cavalry. So Julian, if he can deal with the Dops, Lakota's going to be fine here, but I don't see a way he can effectively deal with those Dops in time. The Setons are going to try and melt them down, but the Doppel soldiers are going to get stuck in there, as are the crossbows. I think this is going to go well for Julian, but this is a Slobbernog. I have no idea. It's an absolute mess right now.
Oh, there's still so many crossbows in the back putting down DPS for Julian, and the amount of C10 bows has fallen substantially, and that is going to be a clear win for Julian. And Frontline, I don't know what he's going to do here. This is ugly. Oh, he's going to resign.
Yeah, he's going to resign. Those Cheyenne allies, they put up a fight there because there's almost no cavalry left. It was just the anti-cav that he couldn't deal with. And because Julian sent in those extra 3 Dops, that won him the game. That decision to go really heavy in that mid-game there, with all of the military shipments staying in H2, knowing he had to deny those TPs, just won him the game. So really, really well played by Julian there, and absolutely solid performance by both again. But yeah, Julian just with that big brain, understanding he had to make something happen in that H2. Otherwise, he would have got out eco'd. Really, really well played.
Yeah. And one of the things that the chat was saying that I forgot to point out is that even though the villager counts were even, I forgot that, Germany obviously has settler wagons. So there was a small advantage for Julian. But at the same time, those ecos were so close. And I think, it really did come down to those 5 Doppelsodners that he trained on top of the 3 that he sent from his home city. And they just proved to be such a swaying factor in that final fight. And if he hadn't had those anti-cav there, I think his pikemen would have gone down immediately, and then the Cheyenne allies would have just mopped up his crossbows. But because of that amazing splash damage from the Doppelsodners, he was able to win that fight pretty convincingly.
Yeah, it's and Julian Julian knows how to counter this just so well. I know the temptation on that map to go for the TP line, but against a player like Julian that knows how to punish TPs, it was just absolutely phenomenal play. But moving on to the next game already, goddamn, these guys not even giving us poor little casters a moment's rest to rest our little voice boxes, going straight into the next game. And this is a more of a familiar map. Did we get to see this map last time? I don't think we did we? Because it was a 4-0 last game. So actually didn't see this map. Josh, let me know what this map's called again. I'm terrible with my map names.
Sud,
that's it. I even missed the Vino in it, and I don't. Again, Another map that we are currently more familiar with. However, is this still on the ranked pool? I can't remember if this is still on the ranked pool. I think it is. But there's so many maps at the moment on the ranked pool. You don't often see it. But it's been on the ranked pool. It still is, I think, and it's been on there for some time. It's a fun map. You've got, I think it's the Sudanese native, which, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a very strong native. I would probably rank this probably as an A-tier native civ purely because of that Sudanese Red Sea trade, which is within the right civilization's hands, is an extremely cost-effective tech there. So yeah, and it's got an okay TP line, you know, but it's the other thing to know as well on this map is you've got two very big XP treasures. They're both guarded by 3 hippos. So you know, if I was going into this map, I would consider this a very strong Spain map because we do see Frontline has gone for Spain on this map, and I guarantee you the main reason he's gone for Spain is because of those hippo treasures. Spain are in a really strong position to take both of those XP treasures purely because they get that starting dog. They can make more dogs, and it's very risky. If you're the opponent here, trying to take that hippo treasure, because you know Spain can just come in, destroy you, and they've got that extra dog. So it's a really good Spain map purely because of a treasure, and that's just, you know, that can just be Spain in the nutshell. You know, a good map for Spain can just be a map that has really strong treasures, because that's the one thing they're really good at, particularly in Age 1 and 2. So, yeah, nice civ pick here by Frontline. I don't see what the advantage with Otto is here. Not saying it's bad for Otto, but not that Otto particularly have a big bonus in this game. So, from a civilization standpoint, I feel like Frontline has won the civilization pick. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Julian's got up his sleeve in there.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out was that Julian did pick up 100 XP very, very early. So not one of those big hippo treasures, but one of the obelisk treasures guarded by the lions. So he was able to get his shipment progression out quite quickly. And we see, similar to what we saw in the previous series, we see the spice trade, the 3 villagers, and then a ton of resource crates in the second age with a couple of unit shipments mixed in between. So we'll be seeing something probably a little bit similar to what we saw in the GuiliuG versus Dennis. And I wonder if we're going to see the same unit composition that we saw from Dennis in that game. If we're going to see, you know, Abasgun, Janissaries, or no, maybe it was GuiliuG playing Autumn in that game. Or if we're going to see something different out of Julian here. Or maybe we don't see any Age 2 play from Ottoman at all. Maybe we just see him try to follow Spain up to the 3rd age and match him tit for tat.
I would not be surprised if we see a double Janras here. Yeah, I was talking about it in the last series about, you know, people seem to forget this lost art of the Age 2 rush. And you do see some civilizations pull it off really well. And I think double Janrax I see it as like a 50-50. You know, this kind of the Jan rush into the Spanish FF, you know, it's been in the game since like the old vanilla days, and that was a nice JulianK kind of treasure still there. Looked like Frontline got a little bit of the bug, you know, where it doesn't click up straight away. And we do see 2 forward villagers with JulianK. I looked at that deck, and once again, Mr. V, that spidey sense of mine was tingling. And I won't be swinging through New York anytime soon, but I definitely got that 6th sense when it comes to Age of Empires 3. And I think we're going to see a good old-fashioned double Jan rush. And like I was saying, I see it as a 50-50. If a double Rax Jan rush is done right, and you get the sweet-ass timing with the Jans, and don't forget the free delis card as well, because you need that free delis as well for the timing. If the timing is perfect, they have the advantage. However, We all know that rushing Frontline, rushing Spain is very, very difficult because they have the dogs, they have the Rodalera shipment, they have the Hussar age up or the crossbow age up, they have the Minutemen, they have the age up tower as well. So they've got so many defensive options here. It's going to be difficult. Frontline is going for that Sudanese, and I was thinking he might be doing them for double towers because he could have got double towers there, which I think would have been really effective. He's decided to put infrastructure down. So the ball's on Frontline right now. This is going to be an absolute snubber. I can't wait for this. But my money right now is on Julian.
I'm really fascinated by the fact that Frontline decided to go with a stable. I'm not really sure what the stable is going to be used to do because Hussars against Ottoman just...
Lancers.
He's going to try to get up to 8. Do you think he's going for a blind?
Oh,
he can't go
no,
absolutely
I apologize.
blind.
No, you're right. He's playing age 2, which, again, my money was on Julian, so I thought he was aging up. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. What is he going to use that stable for? I have absolutely no idea. I mean, Hussars are still okay if you can micro well with them. But, yeah, I mean, Jans go brah, don't they? Brah. So, yeah, this is not looking good for Frontline, I'll be honest. This is looking like a build order mistake here.
Yeah, and following it up with 700 wood and 700 coin. So I don't know if he's going to try to slam down a ton more infrastructure, if he's going to try to get out crossbows, but he's investing really heavily into muskets, which it's just going to get dumpstered so hard by Janissaries here when he does decide to push. And I almost think he would have been better just going for a blind FF and, like you're saying, maybe use those Red Sea wagons to put down, 2 towers and just use dogs and Minutemen. But he's going to try to fight this out in age 2, which against double Jan, here it comes. It's going to start barreling towards the Spanish base, and I don't like Frontline's chances of holding this and winning this fight.
No, I mean, he's milled with musketeers. It would be nice of him to make some bows here as well. I would like to, because if he went like Hussar bows, I know the macro is very difficult for that because you need all 3 resources. Musketeers, they trade okay, but obviously Janissary is the tougher musketeer. So he's going to need something other than just musketeers to kind of add in here. I mean, he does have TC fire and outpost fire. He wants to protect that outpost. He really does. But look at this. Just 10 Janissaries extra, 9 down. We're just walking in there. Just no F's given whatsoever. And this is what Janissaries do best. They just walk up. They brack up on you, son. And it's funny because Janissaries, the best way to micro Janissaries often is just to tank hits, but keep walking forward. Just tank those hits, but keep walking forward because you'll eventually catch up. And once they do catch up, my God, you're in a world of hurt. And yeah, I don't really know what Frontline has here. He has Rodaleros coming. He has a few Hussars with a Minutemen timing. He might come out here okay, but I don't know. It's going to be tough, honestly.
This is ballsy by Julian. He is going so deep in. Oh my God. I gave you one on the silver platter there. Yeah, but I mean, no Minutemen popping out. He's trying to gather that wood, trying to gather that coin. And even though he's losing some of his Jans here, I think this has been such a nice trade for Julian here. He was able to kill that outpost. He was able to bell up a lot of the villagers here, really slowing down Frontline's build. And he's going to get a lot of his Janissaries away, maybe even use the delis to hold off these units. But I don't know. Frontline is determined to kill these Janissaries, and he just might do it.
Yeah, I mean, killing those kind of 5 Janissaries that were coming in is absolutely huge. You see the Hussars, he got good use out of the Hussars. That's how you have to use Hussars in this matchup. You have to just use them purely to get the snare. Deny the Janissaries the ability to kind of melee them. So keep out of range of that melee, but at the same time, use them to snare your opponent and let the Musketeers do all the damage. So actually, I think, yes, JulianK got some good damage there, but at the same time, Frontline melted a lot of those Janissaries. Look at the state of the Janissary mass right now. So Frontline is definitely in this game, and I think Julian just kind of banked too heavily, went too deep, if you will, and and now potentially he is aging up behind this.
I was just gonna say, look what Julian's doing. He's following this up with an age up, which I think is perfect. Because, I think Frontline is feeling pretty comfortable in his base right now. He's thinking to himself, yeah, I held that off. I pushed back the Janissaries. I'm safe. But now you're about to see veteran Janissaries, 2 Falconets, 6 Abasguns, and with just a few Musketeers and maybe some more Hussar to defend against it. And look at his base right now. He's got most of his Vills on berries. He's got very exposed hunts. So yeah, Frontline held the initial push, but I don't think he's safe. Not at all.
No, definitely. He needs to push here. He's doing the right decision because Julian's aging up. He needs to punish Julian. Taking down both of these barracks is going to be absolutely critical for him winning this game. If he can take both of these barracks down, he'll be in a good position, and then he can follow up with the age up as well. And he's gonna buy himself a lot of time here. You saw more Janissaries coming out of those barracks, so maybe Julian knows this as well. So Julian wants to defend this infrastructure here. He can't. He knows he can't right now. So he's gonna try and be clever, or he's just gonna wait for the 2 Falconets. However, regardless, Frontline's done a fantastic job here punishing both of those barracks. Then that's gonna give him a lot of time. It's going to stop Julian producing more units. It's going to stop him getting the veterancy tax for everything. So yeah, so all Julian can do right now is rely on that 2 Falconet shipment. It's going to be close.
The one thing that Julian has as an advantage here is that Frontline has gone all in on this pressure, even producing another batch of Hussar, and he is light years off from following this up with an age up of his own. So for quite a bit of time now, Julian is going to have a substantial tech advantage, and if he can protect these 2 Falconets, he could find himself in a good spot. But now, taking the XP treasure, that's going to be great, 190 XP, and I think Frontline knows he's on a clock here, and he needs to push. At this point, he could overwhelm the anti-cav of Julian and kill those 2 Falconets, but he's on a clock here.
Yeah, he's House of Trastamara coming in. I really like that because that's gonna, not only is it gonna make his age up a lot cheaper, it's going to, I can't actually see how much cheaper it is there. I think the food is almost 900 and 750 coins, so making that substantially cheaper. But the best thing about the House of Trastamara card is how quickly it ages up. Each shipment increases the age up speed. I don't know how much percent points it is, but the more you send, the faster it's gonna be. So not only is it cheaper, look at his resources as well. He's macroing for it. So there we were, Mr. V, talking about, you know, he's kind of left himself in a vulnerable position. He's kind of stuck in this age now. He's used, bang, there comes that trump card, House of Trastamara. I've seen Robot use it. He really likes that card. And that's his trump card here. And look how quickly he is aging up. So he's bought himself lots of time. He took down the infrastructure at the front. He denied Julian getting veterancy Jans. He denied him, 400 wood there. That's going to cost a lot of time. And he's done a fantastic job on it. He sees the 2 Falconets now. He scouted that. So he's just going to back up, age up behind it, age very quickly. He's done an absolutely fantastic job here. And I think he's in a really strong position.
He is, but there's still going to be an interval in which he's going to have to upgrade a ton of his stuff. And Julian now sending the 5 Sipahis. They are on the way. And if he can get a good engagement here, he might be able to roll over this Spanish army before it can get those juicy upgrades and do a lot of damage. But yeah, like you said, Frontline has a lot of units here. And if he can get veteran Hussar, veteran Musketeer, veteran Rod, yeah, I think he will have fully recovered.
Yeah, he definitely needs the 2 Falconet shipment as well. However, I would like to see Lancers being produced. He has to make the decision. Does he decide to spend, 400 resources for veterancy? And that's going to be 800 resources if he wants both the Hussars and the Musketeers. And not that would be bad, but would it not be better to spend his resources on maybe like Rodaleros or Skirmishers and making Lancers at the same time? I think if he starts just teching straight into Rodaleros and Lancers, I think that would be much more beneficial than trying to go for those veterancy techs right now. He's, like you said, he's on the clock now. Julian knows this as well. Julian needs to make something happen here. Julian needs to win the game here. He really wants to win the game here. He knows he's down in score. He's down in eco.
He's not.
Can he do it from here?
He's not going to get his veteran Musketeer shipment, Lion. He's going to lose that barracks.
I mean, he's gone for it, but he has to cancel it now. he can't get veterancy from his stable because he's already making units from there. So he knows he needs the units over the veterancy ASAP. And he is making Lancers, which is good to see. In come the 2 Falconets. He's housed now as well. He needs to spend that wood he used for veterancy into housing population. For some reason, Julian's backing off, and I'm not sure why. I feel like he's got Frontline in a really good choke here, and he should be choking him harder, Daddy. But he's deciding to back up for some reason. I'm not sure what he's afraid of.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Now, I'm wondering maybe he just knows that 2 Falcons for Spain are on the way, and he doesn't want to just get his Falcons sniped. Another barracks now coming down for Frontline. And the thing I'm going to highlight is the same thing I said earlier look at how little food is in Frontline's base. In fact, he's got a ton of idle vills. He's only got 1 giraffe left that's got just a handful of food left on it. And once he runs out of food, he's going to have to go to the north of the map. He's going to go to the south of the map. So, I mean, the resource game for Spain is not looking great. He's going to have to push out, and it looks like he's going to do so on the center of the map. He's got a huge cavalry force.
Yeah, he really doesn't want to spend his time on berries. So instead what he's doing is he's taking map control, and I think he's going to push out so he can gain access to all those juicy natural resources on the map. However, it does look like it's going to be go time as well. We don't have veteran Hussars, but we do have Lancers. He's mixing in some Rodoleros. He's got his 2 Falconets. So if the 2 Falconets cancel each other out, the only problem here is Frontline. He's got more different types of units, so it's going to be very difficult to micro. But if he's going to be on absolute top form with his micro, the Rodolero is in a perfect position as well, so he's going to be able to push the agenda here. The 2 Falconets are wailing away at the Janissaries, so this is the perfect match for Frontline. The Spy don't really counter much here. The Culverins come in, but it's going to be too late for the Culverin, I think. The Musketeers, they now have veterancy, and they will counter the Spy in melee. But
look at the power of the veteran Janissaries. They are tanking so much, and 5 Spies still alive, going for the Musketeers now. Oh my God. Those veterancy upgrades coming in clutch.
I honestly thought that was going to go well for Frontline. It was looking really good. The units were in the position that they wanted to be, but Julian, just really nice micro with his Spy. He sent them around his Janissaries. And like you said, Janissaries, they're just tanking machines, and that's exactly what they did.
And look at this. Both Falconets for Julian still alive, a Kolv and 6 Abus guns now hitting the floor. And along with a good batch of veteran Janissaries, this is the ideal time for Ottoman to push back. Spain is low on resources. He's stretched thin, a lot of exposed villagers. Julian needs to be aggressive.
Yeah, I think Julian, this is Julian's, after that fight, this is Julian's game to throw right now. So he's going to be a little bit cautious to begin with. Make sure he's got all of his ducks lined up in a row. Make sure his eco, everything's good. Might be waiting for one more shipment or so, and then we're going to see a big push from him. But yeah, I mean, that fight was just insane. Like, that went so good for him. And yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the Hussar and Lancers obviously countered Janissaries, but yeah, I think he just lacked skirms. I mean, he did have his Falconets, which should have been doing, should have been the big damage multi versus Janissaries, but I don't know, just Janissaries are just so goddamn tough. You know, it literally just came down to that.
Yeah, and now Frontline's army is really isolated here. He's got a batch of cav. Oh, we might get a nice pickup here. Look at those rods. They're trying to get into position to maybe flank those Falconets. Oh no! The artillery.
Ooh! It's close, but no. Yeah, no, right idea. Almost close, but no cigar.
Yeah, that would have been such a good catch if he had killed those artillery pieces. I think that might have evened out the game if he was able to get those 3 for free. But I think Julian just so obsessed with catching this batch of muskets, and looks like they're going to get away. But yeah, I just don't know what Frontline does here. Julian in a really strong position.
I mean, those Lancers did save those Musketeers, so that is one thing to mention, because those Musketeers were just, they were getting ready to be prime ribbed and just, you know, ready to be eaten alive there by the units that Julian had. So, you know, he loses one Lancer there, I think, but he saves his Musketeers. So he's still in the game, but he's going to have to take the absolute fight of his life. And I just don't know how he does it from here, because he needs skirms or falconets to deal with the Jans. At the same time, he needs culverins to deal with his opponent's artillery. The Lancers, if they can connect on the Janissaries, will do a good job. but just those 3 Spahi, you know, they wreck Lancers, so it's kind of scary. Yeah, I don't know the Avis guns as well. I just don't see Julian making a big mistake here. So this is Frontline's gonna have to micro like his life depends on it.
I think Julian is tired of being walked around, and I think he's doing what I wanted him to do for the past 2 or 3 minutes. He's pushing in, and he's going right for the heart, and he's going to let Frontline's army come to him and try to stop him, and he's doing such a nice job. He's got this huge infantry wall blocking his artillery, and there are a lot of vills in here. There are 17 vills in that outpost. That is Frontline's entire coin economy, and he's got to send the Lancers in, but against these veteran Janissaries, they're just useless. They're like wet noodles flopping against the scimitars, and the Avis guns in the back able to put down good DPS. The Falconets turning, and now we got the villagers trying to kill a Culverin. They're going to take out one of the Falconets, but they're going to go down at the same time to the Sipahi. And yeah, Frontline might, no, I was going to say he might get an even trade, but even with those villagers coming out, he's still going to lose this fight hard.
Yeah, and there comes the GG. I mean, he needed to fight with the villagers, the outpost. You know, that was the best fight he could have asked for. But, you know, Lancers versus Janissaries is interesting because they kind of counter each other. And, you know, with Caballeros, with that card, you know, Lancers do win that matchup. However, you know, there was just too many Janissaries that game. And, yeah, I'm really surprised. I thought Frontline was in a really commanding position there, especially with the House of Trastamara. That was a really nice trump card. And then it was looking really, really good for him. But Frontline just pushing out earlier than he needed to, and it didn't go well for him. Needed to add some skirmishes to deal with the Janissaries. Needed to, I don't know, just needed to add more Lancers to deal with all the mass. Maybe some more rods to deal with the Spahi. But yeah, in the end, just Julian, once again, showing you why he's the GOAT. But Frontline, getting a score on the board. Each game was really close. That Mexico game that he won was also my favorite game. And yeah, that was a really close series. That was a really fun series. So GG's, well played to both.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was so close. And the 4-1 kind of is a bit deceiving because it makes it seem like Julian just rolled over Frontline, and that is not the case at all. So really well played to both players, but that, I think, is, I think that's all we're casting today, correct?
It is. Joshua's going to have to start paying us next time, eh?
Oh, man. Huge shout out to Joshua, though, for running the stream and all of this stuff in the background, all of this cool.
Yeah, he's doing all the background work. He's doing all of the background work. So shout outs to Josh. You can't hear him, but yeah, he keeps talking about Harrison's mum in our ears whilst we're trying to cast, so he's being really distracting. And
So who are we gonna raid, Lion?
We're gonna raid Mr. Brunswick, apparently. Yeah.
He's streaming a team game right now. 4v4.
Yeah, interesting. Guys, thanks very much for stopping by. Thanks for, we had a lot of viewers in here. I can see it's 285. I don't know if we reached the 300 mark at some point, but 285 is really impressive. Thanks for stopping by, and really great series from both guys. Really fun one from Julian Frontline. Really, really close. Most games there. That was really, really enjoyable to cast. Thanks to Josh. Thanks to Mr. V. Go and enjoy Mr. Bromwich, and I'll leave you with Mr. V for any closing words.
I got nothing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate the support. We appreciate you watching along. Again, huge shout out to the players. Huge shout out to everybody behind the scenes. And keep following along the Spring Championships. There are still many games to be played. So come back later. Watch Lionheart get eliminated by Batu.
Oh, shots fired.
But thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys later.
Peace. GG's, everybody. GG's.
All right.